Yes, yes, yeah. You are tuned in to Offering Something. I am your host, Michael Bernier, feeling magnificent to be alive. Yeah, you know that's the truth, and you know I love you for tuning into the show. I also got to give some love to our super sweet sponsors at Enjoy Your Life brand, New Balance, and Rockport Brewing Company. Yeah. Truthfully, we have some incredible humans in the room with us today. That is undoubtedly the truth. To my left-hand side, Andrew Mutty, a.k.a. the real Mutty. I love you.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Real.
This guy, activist, entrepreneur, cannabis connoisseur, action sports athlete, a whole lot going on, man. I love you. Yeah. On my right-hand side, looking so good. Brand developer, positive force in the world. JP Horrigan, the man behind 421. Better late than never.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Thanks for being here. Over here, looking so sharp today. Jonny Deups. How you feeling, player?
Jonny Deups.
What's up, guys?
Hey. Yeah.
What up?
Everything. Phall Roots back there on the switcher.
That's right.
I love you, buddy. And Andrew rolling with JP Horrigan. That's what you get. Security. Yeah.
Brought the duffel bag and everything.
I did see the duffel bag. I'm curious about that. I won't ask you yet.
Kept it in the car until we saw the crew in
Big
here,
black
and then we went
bag
and
in a
got
5-star room.
it. Just in case. You know, Newburyport.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, Muddy, how you feeling, man? You feel comfortable today?
Totally.
Yeah.
I got a lot on my plate, but,
You do.
rolling and rolling, yeah.
That's your style, though.
Yeah, high energy type.
Yeah. Keep it workaholic, perhaps.
It's just ingrained in me.
It is.
I think...
What do you think?
Have you ever done, like, your energy type? Have you ever been into your energy type?
I don't know what that means.
You're not going to
so I
start
don't
with
think
space
so.
racism all of a sudden. That's a hot
but
take.
there's this way to find out what energy type you are. And
Okay.
people have different energies.
What's the
wavelengths
way
that
to
they put
find
out.
that out?
So it's I'll have my wife send you a link, but she goes to the site and put like where you're born, the day you're born, and the time.
Yeah.
And all these things correlate to put out what your energy level is.
So what
And it's
energy
all
type are you?
There's a manifesting
There it is.
generator.
Johnny.
So if you go into these different types of energy levels,
Yeah.
people produce different energies. Like one type of person is a generator. They can create things and make things happen.
Right.
Manifestors like see the vision for it and they make it all happen.
Yes.
So there's different types of people and how
Is there
they do
combinations
things. Yeah.
of the manifestor
Yeah,
generator?
there's like 8 of them or something. I don't know. But my wife brought me through the process and she said, this is obvious that you're a manifesting generator. You're able to see the vision and then you get
That's
it done.
what I was saying.
So
yeah.
like you're one of those people too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got to test my energy.
yeah,
Send me the link,
I'll
bro.
figure it out.
Manifest
Yeah.
the generator.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah, my
money's on
wife
super
is so
safe.
into it, and like I've been into it too. I'm like, this totally makes sense if you like break it down. So that's what I've been up to.
That's what
High
you've been up to,
energy,
interpreting your
getting
energy.
shit done
Yep.
like all the time, like schedules packed as always, and just going for it.
So let's dial it back to an earlier time here. Where did you come from? How did you end up on the scene? Was your original splash into the world through? That's interesting. It turned off again. Through video I think I know what to do here. Turn it to the little camera picture as opposed to the video. You see that on that knob? Yeah. Put it to the one that's a camera and then try it because that's where it was set before. So was it through action sports? Was it through video that you made your way into the scene? Because you've been crushing
Maybe.
these incredible things forever. From Red Bull to... oh, you can. There's a little
Covers
funny
of the
switch in front of
magazine.
it. You got to push the
Does
button
that
in.
cover you launching out of
Kill
the
it.
parking garage?
Oh yeah, I got
in
that right here in
Boston?
this book.
You got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. This is badass photo you've ever seen. Wait till you guys
What's
see
this photo now?
My like the youngest, most honorable thing I've done in my life that made me very happy.
The youngest?
Yeah,
That was the first thing? What was the age? Is that what you mean by youngest?
I was probably 21-ish, 22.
Yeah.
I landed on the cover of a snowboard magazine. And
urban snowboarding at its originator.
So so basically Pat's given a little bit of it out there, but when I grew up, we were snowboarding in the city. Like I was a city kid.
What do you mean?
It's kind of hard to explain.
Give me some examples of snowboarding in the city. We're talking about like parking garages.
You might be into this. Have anybody here ever been to the Arnold Arboretum?
I don't know what that is.
Fuck. Dude. All right.
Yeah.
You and I, or even you on your own, have to go for a walk someday. There's this place in Boston. It's right next to
immediately
JP.
reneged on doing it together.
Well, sometimes the stars align.
Yeah.
If they do, we can do it.
But our energy seems to be in a similar place.
Yeah, I want to push you there anyways.
Okay.
Regardless if I'm there or not.
Right.
And don't feel like you need me to go there. But I'm going to tell you about it,
Be
right?
my guru, Mutty.
I'm going to tell you about it.
Don't speak for
The
you.
Arnold Arboretum is
Use
like
your data first.
it's like a tree museum.
Okay.
So if you're like into nature and just having like really sound, grounded experiences with nature,
I'm into
this
that.
is one of the only places you can do it in this like real worldly fashion without having to travel everywhere. They got trees from Japan, Europe, like all over the world in this one place. And it's situated between JP and West Roxbury.
Yeah.
And it's right off of Center Street. It's called the Arnold Arboretum. It's a beautiful place. Long story short, I grew up snowboarding there. I loved it. I was right down the street. Like my house, I could walk there to get to this place. But it has everything you need to snowboard on. There's cliffs.
In what sense? Yeah.
There's cliffs. Like I was jumping cliffs as a little kid in this park. Like now these cliffs have fences around them so you can't fall off them. But
yeah, but that was the good part.
yeah, so like I love that shit, you know? Yeah. So that's how I grew up snowboarding in the city.
Yeah.
And I always watched these people out in West, like, you know, idols of mine, like Jamie Lynn and like Chris Roach and Damian Sanders. They were like cruising around Tahoe getting lit, like shredding the gnar, like as crazy as it could get. And I idolized that. So I said, how could I do that someday in my life?
Yeah.
So I hiked
Being in the city.
when I was young, we got badass snowstorms.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
used to
remember.
be.
We're all the
Yes,
same
I
age,
do.
right? Yeah.
Used to
We used to snowmobile on the beach.
Dude, totally.
Right down the beach
snow
on sleds.
everywhere.
It doesn't happen like that anymore. But anyway,
No.
so Boston would get hit so hard. I'd go snowboarding at the Arboretum, and my dream was to do something cool in snowboarding. So one day, through my network and people I knew, I called up this guy, Gary Land. And he was a photographer that did a lot of work at Killington at the time. Unknown, just friend of a friend.
Gary Land.
But super
Gary.
good photographer.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude,
I broke my leg at Killington.
You burnt your leg at
Broke my leg.
Broke
Didn't
your
walk
leg
for
at
a year.
Killington.
Shattered it. Destroyed it.
Many people.
Now I'm having PTSD.
golly.
Trigger. Crazy. Took a left turn. Anyways, continue.
many people broke their leg there. I'm
Johnny,
sorry.
why don't you
You're
come
one of
over
them.
here? I'll
It's a lonely club.
So,
Yeah.
Have a cool down.
so regardless, long story short, my snowboarding transitioned from there to the mountains, and then I got sponsored, so I ended up in Colorado and like all over. And eventually I ended up back in Boston doing a bunch of street snowboarding because I knew the city. Everyone was like, where's their cool rails? And like, how do you like transition into the city? So
When you say street snowboarding, you're saying that like there's snow in Faneuil Hall and there's ramps and you're gunning that and you're hitting those ramps.
yeah.
Okay.
Dude, it
dope.
used to snow so much in Government Center that they have like slopes.
Right.
They're
Of course. That
stairs.
makes sense to me because we skate that kind of, but you
Yeah.
can't really, but yeah.
Well, that's how I knew about it. I grew up skateboarding in the
Right.
city. I went to high school in Boston. I used to skateboard from the train station,
North Station?
Back Bay.
South Station.
I'll get off at Back Bay, skate back Neiman Marcus, skate around the corner. Every day before I went to school, I'd always ollie the marathon finish line.
Right.
It's like a 3-foot banner on the ground.
Did you know my bro Matty O'Brien, who had that skate shop on Newbury Street back in the day? Matty O'Brien and John.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah.
What the heck was the name of that?
can't
Not
even
Coliseum.
remember.
No, but
No, there was
Matty
an
O'Brien-
OG one.
Yeah,
for
Matty
sure.
O'Brien, he like left high school and went right to Newbury Street and opened up a skate shop. Dude.
Yeah, I
and
used
he
to go
was a
there all the
sponsored
time.
guy.
I used to go there all the time.
And I can't
Used to
remember
skate the
He's a
fountain
badass
downtown.
surfer too. And the other kid there, John. Anyways, great surfers, great skaters.
Let's go back to Where were you born? First thing, what was this?
I was born in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Nashua, New Hampshire.
Yeah, I'm technically a dirt. I'm like a New Hampshire dirt.
A dirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Live free
So,
or die.
Mr. Dirt, did you go to school? School? Was
Fuck
college a thing? You this
Yep.
guy?
Yeah. So all my schooling was done in Boston. I went to high school on Marlborough Street, and I went to college on Huntington Ave. I'm a mass art student.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I
You like
studied
to draw.
Fine art painting. Fine art painting. Painting.
Are you
is my
still
thing.
doing that?
I painted my house today.
Yeah. There's that degree coming into effect.
So finger paint.
So that's my jam. You asked me earlier, like, what do you got going on? I'm like, so much. So like, I'm painting my house. I'm like trying to keep my business going and doing different events and stuff like that. So
You get out of college, and what is it that leads you to, at some point, the development of Beantown, Greentown?
So out of college, I took a job in California, working for a snowboard company.
Okay.
So I traveled the world, and
Whereabouts in California are we, Andrew?
I was in Southern California. So
Southern California.
1 year in San Francisco while the company was still there, and then we moved to Orange County, and I was there for about 6 or 7 years, and I left.
Okay.
Yeah. So
What were you doing for this company, traveling the world?
traveling the world, ended up being a team manager. So a little bit, Jonny Deups brought it up earlier, I started a company called Real Theory.
Oh, yeah. Real Theory Productions. I had a sweatshirt for a long time.
Yeah, we filmed a lot of your early stuff. I think that was the start of the whole thing, right?
Quite a thing. Yeah.
Real Theory.
So, yeah, when I was traveling the world working for Phall, Phall was the snowboard company.
Yep.
And we did so many like cool videos.
Yeah.
But I was their traveling manager, so they gave me a camera, and I was like, okay, I'll just learn how to use this. So I learned how to use it year after year after year, and got better and better. And then when I ended up leaving Phall, I ended up getting a job at Nike, and I kept doing the snowboard stuff and filming and stuff like that. And then I got a job working for Rockstar, and then I went from Rockstar to myself.
All of this is doing video production, like for Rockstar? What are we
Mostly
doing?
like athlete. We were talking about mentoring earlier.
Yeah.
I was doing like a lot of athlete mentoring. Like,
Did you mentor Scotty or no?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so he ended up going to the Olympics and like
Scotty Lego,
taking
Scotty Lego.
taking home all the
Scotty Lego is a New Hampshire icon.
Yeah, legend in the snowboard industry.
He is.
Yeah, he's
He's beyond a New Hampshire icon.
And with the new videos,
he
I
is
think
a
he's
golden
funny as
boy.
fuck. He might have a comedian thing going for him in the future.
You talk about
here.
the long hair one with the police. Did
Yeah.
you see that one?
He's got like a shotgun. He's like
Scotty has
hunting
been
and,
here in this room before.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I think I watched that show. Yeah.
Too funny, man.
He's a good
Yeah, he's a
dude.
good dude.
So we're
Mentoring kids, and then we were talking about the weed thing, right? So
Yeah.
all this traveling I did all over the world. We ended up in Amsterdam. We ended up in Vancouver, like these really hubs for like weed and where it was originally.
Yeah.
And I was always smoking weed. I'm a snowboarder. Fucking
That's
growing
what
up
y'all
in
do out
Boston,
there.
like
Yeah.
that's what we did for fun. You know, it was just like whatever. You're gonna go out and get high and have a good time.
Yeah.
elevated mindset. You know, I would smuggle seeds in from Amsterdam and Vancouver and give them to people when it was like highly illegal. If you got caught doing this shit, you were
You mean
fined.
hypothetically you did that in a dream once?
So I would
Once upon a time.
I would cut my shoelaces off and I'd stuff them full of seeds and I'd tie them back up and just walk through the border. Be like, yeah, here we go. So and I'd
That's
give
a
them out
good
to
angle. Look at
I'd give
that.
them out to all my buddies that grew weed.
It was a good angle.
So a lot of like early weed in Boston area, probably in the 90s. I like to attribute to probably a couple of my seeds. So,
Nice, kid.
And,
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was.
Muddy
And
apple seed.
That was my like. that was literally my first seed experience that really grasped me. Right. So
Do you remember some of the strains that you brought home when you put them in your like shoes?
no, we grabbed varieties. It was just like whatever was there. But White Rhino was one of them for sure. And these were like early, like Sensi Seed Bank,
Yeah.
like Skunk Number One, probably.
Yeah, those are
Seven.
like very much so
That AK.
like
The old school
the building,
Jack Herrera.
the building
blocks of
Yeah.
like a lot of the
Yep.
strains that have come today. Yeah.
Yep. So a lot of that shit came through in my shoe, And ever since then, I've been one of these people that's just like, weed should be as common as a fucking daffodil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started throwing seeds around. I would grow clones and I'd stick them in the gas station that I used to live in, and I'd water them every time I got gas, and they would grow and be like this huge plant.
He'd go in there in October and he'd like harvest it.
That's really what you were doing? You were out there planting seeds?
The sad thing is, though, I would never see them past like,
you wouldn't.
like August because they got so big.
You'd have like random people obviously pulling up and seeing the plants, and their reaction alone is probably worth, whatever.
That's how you break a stigma, though.
Yeah.
You have to put it in front
You're
of
like, I just went to Sitco. There was a purple indica plant in the fucking, in the median. What the hell's going on here?
I've grown so many seeds and so many plants and given people the opportunity to grow a plant. Like, that's one of the things like I really love about.
Did you bring some starters with you today?
I did not, but you might find a seed in some of that weed. So, there you go, grow it. It's probably female.
Nice.
That's got me.
This was your introduction into the cannabis world.
That was my true introduction. It's been years in the making, and it's like there's a lot of people that come into weed right now, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna start a company. I'm gonna grow weed." And they never fucking grown weed or know anything about it.
Yeah,
and that's phony to me. And I don't, they can do their thing. And they can learn, and they can trip over the same stuff.
You're saying just jumping into the game from more of a scientific standpoint as opposed to being somebody that has the knowledge and experience that was acquired over decades.
Some people are like pioneers and almost like already deserve the respect to cut the line and be at the top with, putting in the years of knowledge and believing in something when it wasn't a cool thing to believe in. Now cannabis is so accepted that a lot of those people back then, you'd never see them lining up at any of these events, or you'd never see them trying to put a foot forward in a hearing,
But it's the finest cannabis that's in circulation, at least in the shops like in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Is that still grown by actual humans?
Yes.
Yeah,
people that are like the OGs of the industry.
Is still lacking quality because a lot of the people, like he was saying, aren't informed. They don't know plant nutrition. They try to just come in. They see dollar signs and investment. But
what is known as
plant
the
science
best
is huge. Like those guys are just making big money and see a big profit. So they don't really care about.
We are seeing mass brands step up though big time. There are definitely mass brands taking it more seriously. There's a couple.
Yeah. But think about it. Ever since this boom happened, right? They called it the green gold rush. It's right? You know how many idiots came out of the woodwork for this thing?
All of them.
And it's, if you have money, you can do it. And that's the thing.
Right.
And if you have money, like, that's one thing. But if you got the heart and you got the ability to be able to do it the right way, it's a totally different thing.
So let's return to where we were. So now you've planted seeds, you're growing plants at gas stations. You've realized that you have some sort of love for this cannabis plant. You've been using it. You've been consuming it now for a long time.
So I wanted to get into the industry myself.
Yeah. So what was that lane for you? What's your angle?
I went to NECAN 2015.
NECAN, what's that for people that aren't hip?
It's a New England Cannabis Convention Center, not center, but like group, like NECAN, New England Cannabis, basically.
Okay.
And they run shows.
Where are they running these shows? What's the home base of NECAN?
He's got a bunch of them. Like, he's got a bunch. He's got one in Maine. He's got one in Chicago.
Who
His
is
name's Mark? Mark Shepard.
Yeah. Mark Shepard.
You know Mark, right?
He's him.
Yeah, he's him.
He's him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
And he puts on these shows.
What's up, Mark?
What's up, Mark?
One was held in,
we love you, Mark.
One was held in Boston. I think it was 2017 or 2016 or 15. I went to one and I sat on a forum and I listened to someone talk and they were like, get into the industry, start a brand, just do something and make it something. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. And my buddy and I that were like growing and like sharing information with each other and really helping each other out on the underground market when it was illegal to do, decided to say, hey,
legacy market.
Let's start a brand. We grow weed, we have content, we can teach people, we can do this, we can do that. So we decided to start a brand. And he came up with the name Beantown.
Who is this buddy?
It's a good friend of mine that I grew up with in Boston. His name's Keith.
Keith?
Yeah.
Keith's good people. I've met him a few times.
Do we get to say Keith's last name or
Keith Laham?
Keith Laham.
Okay. Laham. Yeah, he's
You're saying Keith's valid.
Solid dude.
Keith's root.
And
root boy. He's
we
cool.
You know Keith, Johnny?
I've met him a couple of times
There
at
it
the
is.
events. Yeah.
Validation,
Yeah,
additional.
Keith's saying it. Then
yeah,
I'm saying
he
it
and
too.
I just like spearheaded it, you know.
Yeah.
He chucked a bunch of money at me. It was like, print T-shirts, do whatever, you know, make something happen. So I was like, okay. So I went out, printed T-shirts, got like a boot space at Nican the next year because I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I'm in. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, I want in. So we did Nican for like 3 years solid, and it
What
was
were
a
you
vibe.
like advertising there? You have your
We were
booth.
selling
and what do you-
T-shirts,
you're
like-
selling T-shirts.
Yeah,
saying
like at that
Beantown,
point,
Greentown.
we couldn't sell weed, and you can't sell weed
People
in
are
these
like, what do you do?
conventions.
You're like, we sell T-shirts.
Yeah, we sell T-shirts and we're going for a license. That was like our
Gotcha,
whole
yeah.
jam. We were like, we want to get in and we're going to start at the roots and make ourselves known through the core and just be there and do it.
So were you at that point already activists? Were you partaking in activism?
Underground. Yes.
Underground.
Yeah, I would say
Not
we were.
I mean, if you
no,
went
not
to
publicly.
if you went to like Amsterdam and stuff, yeah, active. That's an
Active
activist.
shooter.
You don't
I
go-
mean, were you
You don't
standing
go to
out there with
Amsterdam
signs?
20 years ago when,
Sounds
or
active to
15
me.
years ago or whatever, unless you really knew your weed or like were
Yeah.
into weed. I feel like that's a place you visit when
I
cannabis
was
is
there
your thing.
20 years ago.
Especially then, it
Amsterdam.
was
I
the
think
place to be.
coffee
That
shops.
was like the spot.
I think the term activism though has something to do with
A little
like,
bit more with trying to help it.
on the political
I guess,
side
that's
and like
what I mean.
being involved. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
in that sense, like I never really became a true activist publicly working towards cannabis until I had started the brand.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you kind of want to pronounce what you're talking about and what you believe
Yeah.
in. And that's what we believed in. Other than that, like Beantown, Greentown was an underground group. We had an Instagram handle and we used to share with people, dude, we wore masks to hide our face of who we were.
Right.
Dude,
And we
wore
were
masks.
following on Beantown, Greentown because we'd tell people how to grow. And we would show up at like the Boston Gardener in Roxbury and bring clones and seeds
I was
and
gonna
teach
say,
people
yeah.
how to do it. And this is underground. Like, you know,
Back when it was illegal
theoretically,
to have
you
a
could
bowl.
still get fucking busted for it.
I got arrested for that.
But there's no THC in a vegging plant,
Yeah.
so technically you can't. Just
Yeah.
like there's no THC in a seed. So in Massachusetts, all the way to Seattle,
You know a lot about this.
it's legal to ship seeds across the country even because of the fact that there's no THC generated in the seed. It's a novelty purpose. Like it would take you 90 days to see, technically.
Is that true? We can mail seeds around the country?
Yeah, like the whole
Some
idea of
smuggler's
a
knowledge.
seed being like
It's a Farm
mature
Act that
versus
actually went through
immature
a couple years
is
ago.
a fucking joke.
Yeah,
and
Farm Act. Check
I
it
got
out.
arrested for seeds once in Utah.
Yeah, that won't happen
Seeds.
again.
You saying you got arrested for seeds, Phall Roots?
That's right. Yeah, back in 1998, I was coming from the desert.
Everything
to
happened in
Salt Lake.
98.
You're coming from a Dead concert, you said?
No, I was coming from the desert in
Coming from the desert,
in
quote
Boulder,
unquote.
Utah, going back to Salt Lake to ski up in Sandy at Snowbird and Alta. And our friends, we lived in the desert. We went hiking and such. And I had these seeds from my buddy's dad that were like high seeds. But we had some pipes on us and some seeds, and we were doing like 85 on the highway in Nephi, Utah, speed trap town.
Yeah.
And they pulled us over because we had Massachusetts plates. And I spent 8 hours in a jail.
Look at
$850
you.
bail for seeds and and a couple
8
of
hours
glass
in
pot
jail
pipes.
for seeds.
Yeah. And he's like,
Seeds
looks like
and
you're gonna be here for
contraband.
Thanksgiving.
That's a
I
work
said,
day.
yeah, that's
Contraband.
crazy. But
I hope a
they'll
cop
get
would
ya.
do that now if they pulled someone over and found seeds
That
in their
happened.
weed just because they're smoking shitty weed.
The messed up thing though is
What's the messed up thing?
have you ever heard of castor oil?
Castor oil?
Yeah, it's good
yeah.
for your skin.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you put a castor seed and a marijuana seed or cannabis seed next to each other,
Oh, yeah.
you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Really?
You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So
You just shipping castor seeds?
yeah, totally. These are castor seeds. I grow castor plants. It's good for my skin. I have fucking
have great
rosacea
skin.
or like whatever that.
You have great-
Rosacea.
You have great skin.
Eczema, like what you know.
Yeah.
So, I like that's the stupidity of the whole entire thing right now. It's like they've taken a plant and they're demonizing it every which way they can. We made cannabis legal in Massachusetts in 2016.
Saying we,
voted
like you
for
were
it.
a part of this.
Yeah, everybody voted for it.
Yeah.
Me, you, everybody on the ballot said if we wanted it or not.
Yeah.
But honestly, we've made it more illegal in Massachusetts than it was when it was.
How
when it was
so?
legal.
Explain how cannabis,
Hot
now
take,
that
hot
it's
take.
legal, is more illegal than it ever was.
Look, have you ever read the regulations for marijuana?
I have not.
It's like 175
I-
pages of dog do. It is like the worst read ever, and it puts it in such a small box. Like my lawyer Blake Benson, God bless his soul. You know this guy? He goes to all these CCC meetings and regulatory stuff with the state, and he abominizes like the whole entire system because it's a joke. They regulate cannabis more than they do plutonium.
What do you mean? How so? Give me some examples.
Growing limits, travel restrictions, testing, security implications. Did you know that in Massachusetts, if you own a grow, you need to record the room when it's black? You have to record it the whole entire time. So that's 12 hours of
and
black
it also
footage.
has to be on. It has to be backed up.
Backed up. And then stored for 120 days, if not more.
Wow.
So imagine the complications of A, the system, B, the redundancy, and then the wasted fucking time and energy and space. Those reasons right there make it more illegal in my mind than it was before when it was just freaking illegal.
Yeah.
Dude, but remember when you had to like drive into a neighborhood, walk into the woods 2 miles, share like 0.3 with your friends? You were afraid the cops were going to be there, so you were high for 15 minutes. Like, anything's better than that.
You're going home and you're smelling like weed. You think your parents are going to kill you.
Dude, they were going to kill you.
They're going to smell
Back then, you could still legally kill your
smell
kids.
like skunk. That was good stuff.
Celebrate that. Celebrate the fact you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Rolling down the street with 10 in my Thule up on the roof.
Yeah.
Smoking out of Bible papers by accident because you're so scared to ask for the
1989.
right questions.
Well, those are the days, right?
They were awesome days.
Yeah.
We used to actually get high back then, though.
It like weed was more cool when it was legal, in my mind. You know,
It was definitely more cool.
it's like
Wait, when it was illegal.
yeah,
It just attracted different people.
You're a rebel, though, Muddy.
sure.
why.
You're the real people.
Whatever.
That's what it attracts.
Fast forward now
real.
through this Beantown, Greentown thing. What does it turn into? Where is it now? Are you a part of it? Is it gone? What is it?
Beantown exists as the soul of many friends and people that have touched the spirit of Beantown, Greentown. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been one of those things where it's been a struggle to get through the licensing process. And honestly,
What are the licenses that you're trying to attain?
I was going after a micro business license. It's a small license type, but it allows you to do 2 different operations. You can cultivate and you can manufacture.
Okay.
So I went after it. I got the license. I couldn't find funding to help me get off of the ground. So
Right. And what kind of funding do you need for that?
it depends on how big you want to go. If you want to do a full operation, micro business allows you to do cultivation, manufacturing, and delivery. And if you built all 3 of those out properly, you're looking anywhere between $3 to $4 million.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You could do it bootstrapping it, doing it for way less. But when you have some of the parameters, like I was telling earlier about this business, you need the security. You don't want to set up a bunk grow that gets mold and bugs and then you fail testing. Like failing testing ultimately will render you a business that makes money or a business that goes out of business.
Right. Yeah.
So like all those parameters put you in that space. So
And they're truly heavily monitoring these things. They're coming through. The CCT is very
every batch
involved.
of marijuana that you grow, you have to have tested. So if you don't pass test, you can't sell it in the market. You could spend 9 months, $1 million, and you could end up with nothing. And that's just.
But how
the hit and miss of
often
the
is
game.
that happening now that people have somewhat dialed this process?
Honestly, it's
in?
not. However, that hinders the person who's willing to fund these projects.
Yeah.
Very, minimally. Like that person is hard to find.
Yeah.
So if that person existed and I still had my license, I'd be good to go. However, you get people that are very skeptical about a million different things.
Right.
So my license was tough because I went after it as a micro license and I wanted to do everything. And
What does everything entail? Growing, and distribute.
Yep, and distributing.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, like a lot of people that come into the game, think they're going to make huge money. Green gold rush, right?
Yeah.
So you end up with
green
these
gold.
people that are like, oh, I'm going to make a ton of money, but what do I got to invest? And when they see the money they got to invest and they hear that the micro business has restrictions, 2 restrictions that were very hurtful in the sense of like what you could do and what you couldn't do. You can only grow a certain amount of square footage with a micro license. It's
That's what it mainly means. It's the size of your canopy space. Like
Yeah.
the usable cannabis is going to be seemingly smaller.
Yep.
It's not
Gotcha.
like thousands and thousands of square footage.
You're limited. So you break down a 5,000 square foot grow. You say out of that you need veg, you need flower, you need a mothering room, you need, all these pieces of the puzzle. All those equal what you're allowed to grow. So if you do the math, you end up at 3,000 square feet. If you're pumping 2,000 pounds out of that a year, that number equals what your profit is versus what you have to pay back to an investor. And a lot of people that came in, like I was trying to tell you, they see big numbers. They don't want to see, I can only grow 2,000 pounds a year.
I see.
They're trying to be the Shaws of selling.
They want to grow
now I
100,000
can see
square
because
feet.
You can keep a boutique.
ultimately
Yeah.
the supply
Small batch
is
has
limited.
more.
So
You can't hit
therefore
that
you're in a
boom.
rub,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Manufacturing.
In a rub.
I can only manufacture 2,000 pounds of product a year. It's listed in the regulations. Someone's like, that's all you can do? Like, I was hoping to pump, 10,000 pounds through this year. And you're like, fuck, that's 5 times the amount that my license has. So
that 97?
I had a big pool of people that were like, dude, if you were doing a grow that was like 10 million, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get going. And I didn't know what I didn't know. And one thing is I was a basement grower. I came out of my house.
Yeah.
I've never run a full cultivation facility before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'd like to start here. This is good stepping stones for me. This is
Yeah.
where I wanted to go, and this is what I really wanted to do.
People
So-
were looking for the home run.
yeah, there was a lot of
Catch
people
that
looking for the home run,
grain.
and then there was the opposite side. So then there was all these people that had like a bunch of little money, like 60,000, 50,000, 20,000,
yeah.
and I'm like, so now I'm gonna have to pool 30 people together to get what I want. Now I have 30 heads that I have to talk to every
30
time I have to make an
opinions.
excuse.
Too much.
Sounds
Up
like a
for
headache.
something dumb that I couldn't control, and licensing at the time was stacked against us as young entrepreneurs and small mom and pops businesses from Massachusetts. So the most effed up thing that they did was when they started the rec licensing here in Massachusetts, and you probably remember this, and I don't know how much you know about it, but what they did was they allowed all the medical places that were currently existing, and it was like 33 or 32 of them or something at the time. They allowed them to write a license and put it on the table. So the commission can only review a certain amount of licenses at the same time, right? You only have a certain amount of people who can look at them. So any medical one that came in, they gave them priority. So if each medical place gave 10 licenses times 30, we're at 300 licenses. They had to go through all 300 of those before they would look at their first rec license.
Did you have a social equity? Were you looking for?
They didn't have social equity even when I started. As soon as they started, I was the first cohort. I went through the first social equity
So social
program.
equity in Massachusetts, the program it just puts you in front of a line. In Massachusetts, they have a lottery, like he was explaining, where there's a list of people that are already trying to do the same thing you're doing. So you have to wait your fair share of time. If you have a social equity applicant in your company, you usually don't have to wait that time because you just get to.
And ultimately, that's like a proven track record of following the rules in the cannabis world and doing things correctly for some time, already having
social equity
licenses.
Social equity
What is
was it was like a badge.
Yeah.
You were applying for a license, you got this badge.
Yeah.
They also gave economic empowerment. Like the system was set up in a cool way, and I'll appreciate this a lot, was they wanted to set up to give back to people that were affected by
it was for the
war on
underprivileged.
drugs.
That's what social equity license is.
And people
the
who got
affected.
arrested too. I know in New York they prioritize people who had actually been arrested,
Previously
because of cannabis.
incarcerated.
They got priority.
Yeah. So, but what they did was the state of Mass said, here's a window. You can apply for this only in this window. And they had like 120 applicants or something. And that was it. They cut it off. And then nobody could be an economic empowerment app. And there's very few of those licenses that even exist or are in operation right now. I think there's maybe 2 or 3.
Some of those people are still waiting for the call back.
They're still waiting, right? So then they created this next pool that was social equity because they couldn't open that window again for this other one. So the social equity group was, if your parents were affected, and that's how I got in, or if you were personally affected, or if you lived in a town and you met a certain race criteria, you could have 2 or 3 of these 4 components, and you could apply for this badge. And that badge kind of like let you skip the line a little bit.
I got you.
But the line for these people didn't matter because this was still priority.
Right.
So like theoretically, medical people could give their license over and over and over, like keep renewing for different. Oh, I'm gonna go for a dispensary today. I'm gonna go for a grow tomorrow. I'm gonna go for manufacturing
And
the
they'd
next
still
day.
be put ahead of
And there was-
anybody that was.
Yeah. So between manufacturing, cultivation, and like a dispensary, that's 3.
And
you can hold
delivery.
9 licenses because each one of those you could have 3 of. So if all 30 of them gave 9,
Yeah,
like these are all the
see.
times that get stacked against you. So it took a long time for us to get through the system of like how to get approved and get approved. My license, like I applied for my license as soon as I could. I think it was February of 2018, and I made it through the system in a year and change. So it was 2019 and something. And then they started to review our app. And then by the time they reviewed our app, they give you these requests for more information. So they say, oh, we like your application, but we have more questions for you.
Yes.
So that delays it another 3 months. Then if they don't like what you say that time, they give you another request for more information, which happened to us again. So we didn't get up getting our license for like 2 years down the road. COVID hits. Mass recreational weed is considered like a non-essential. So they shut down every business, every license that could go through. Like they shut it down.
I can't believe it just turned off.
Then I get actually put on the ballot for their approval, and I end up going through the system right as COVID happened. So I'm like, here we go. And then trying to find funding in COVID for a business that's non-essential is like, good luck.
Right. Yeah.
So
Sounds
all
like the
these
mass
things
motor
got stacked
registry.
against me. Yeah.
The registry, motor vehicles.
Yeah.
That was
Wait, what
you
did
like-
this license actually say on it? The license that you had. Do you still have this license?
No, it actually just ran out October 13th.
Okay, so the license that you did have,
wound.
what did it
Fresh wound.
allow you to do?
Fresh wound. Fresh
Oh
wound.
yeah, it's fresh wound.
Fresh wound.
Yeah, we're talking about something right now that's still like hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did it allow you to do? This license that you had.
It allowed me. It was a micro license.
Okay.
It allowed me to cultivate and manufacture.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've just allowed it to terminate?
Yeah,
as
we
of
allowed
recent?
it to terminate. Yeah,
How was that decision making process?
it basically boiled down to not having money to even renew the license. Yeah, because when you start these
How much
things,
is the renewal?
it's like $4,000.
Jesus.
That's just for the cost of actually doing it. And then you have like other fees. And that depends on where you are in the renewal process. So 2 things were lining up that really were like really bad for us. And if we wanted to continue, one was our HCA with the town was about to expire.
Yep.
That's your host community agreement. That's what you have to get in order to apply for a license. So like you got to go through the town to get approval before you can even get approval from the state. So ours
The
lasted.
town has to be okay with you growing
Yeah, I
dope
gotcha.
and selling dope.
It makes sense.
You know what I mean? That's how it is.
Usually you have to be one or the other, right? You have to pick in the town. Either town's a grow town or a sell town. They usually don't allow for both.
Yeah.
Or it was like that for a while.
It's still that way. There's towns in Mass that won't allow
Yeah, you have
cannabis
to
at
pick
all.
which one usually in
Yeah.
a town if what
Yep.
you're going to do. You usually can't do both.
That was part of the rat race. And the rat race was fun when we were getting going.
Mm-hmm.
We would go out and we would look at a different town like every day. Like, does this town allow it? Excuse me. Will this town not allow it? So we would go to these towns.
Will this politician take money?
So one of the crazy things about this is like you had to be like real savvy. So you had to figure out which towns had it.
Yep.
If you did, then you had to go to that town. You had to get what was called the marijuana overlay. It's a map, right?
Yeah.
And that map like overlays where they would allow you to do cannabis in that town, right?
Yeah.
So it would go like this, and you would say, all right, cool, this area and this area. They're usually light industrial or industrial areas
Yeah.
because they don't want them in
Commercially zoned.
residential. So
Yeah.
cool. Now you have to find a building in that tiny little zone in that town. So
And you got to start paying for it before they even say yes.
totally, that's a whole nother part.
Like, yeah, you have to. It has to be in your name. You have to be already like, a
That
good
seems
tenant.
a little bit outrageous to me.
So
There's
you
a lot
could
going on
essentially
there.
pay for a really big zone,
Yeah.
and never be able to bring plants into it. It's happened to plenty of people. In Mass.
Wow.
Are you calling
He
Tom
wasn't
Foolery?
kidding about like the rule book in Massachusetts being significantly larger than
Yeah.
probably every other state in Mass. I mean,
In
in
the
every other state in the
country,
country.
Yeah.
Even as
People's Republic.
he wanted to apply for the. or
You love
apply
it in
for
Massachusetts.
The smaller
though.
license,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean all of the. There were a
Mass
lot
health.
of things that you still have to do. That's the same as the big license. Like if he had a delivery service, he'd still have to, even being a small business owner,
Yeah.
he'd still have to pay 2 people in the car, just like Netta
everybody
or
else.
like $1 million business would have to do. Yeah, Massachusetts makes 2 people be in the car to deliver your cannabis and during cannabis delivery.
Yeah.
I think it's a safe.
You know how many people had to be in the car when we were younger?
Yeah.
It depends.
One.
Yeah.
Depends on where you're delivering and how much.
Or me and all my boys, you know, like,
Yeah.
let's go to Bone Cruise.
Sometimes it took 4 or 5.
Mikey
Depends
needs
on
a
where
dime
you're headed
bag,
to.
you know?
Right.
So, you know, that's like, you know, it's a fresh wound. I didn't expect to talk about all this tonight, but you know,
Yeah,
like,
good thing we went through that PR.
We've talked about this
conversation
before.
What was okay, what was not okay.
yeah, I'm an
Now it's
open
different.
book. You know, there's like, you know, it is what it is. Like, you can't control everything in your life. You know, you do the best you can, and you make
That's
strides.
destiny.
And
Amor
You know?
fati. Amor fati.
yeah,
Are we still? Are we entertaining?
We're still we're still
Oh,
on.
what's up, everybody?
We're going.
What's happening? Anybody got a good joke?
Patrick's full of good jokes.
Oh,
Patrick's a man of many talents and profound wisdom. So
I did hear one on the river the other day, but I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah. We'll wait for after.
Do we have
It's a
any
cultural
PG-13 rated jokes?
Well, I'm more of a musician than a comedian, but I do tell good Ken and Barbie jokes, don't I, do, Johnny? So I get to play with Johnny on stage, and
That's quite the joke.
yeah. Well, doesn't he look like Ken over there?
He has a Ken vibe.
He's the New England.
He doesn't
Ken
like
doll.
this.
Is this an ongoing joke?
It is an ongoing.
I don't support bullying. I'm on your
Yeah.
team. I stand with you.
This isn't bullying. This is Big Brother love.
He's having PTSD right now. This happened before. I don't participate in this.
You can see him driving a Corvette, though, right?
here we go.
Black.
Black Corvette. Jesus.
speaking of, have you seen the Barbie movie?
I have not, but I heard it's good.
I bet Pat's
It's
watched
good.
it.
It's good.
I've had a couple girls offer me dates, which is, I guess, is good that I'm getting a lot of dates, but
Yeah.
But you didn't take them, so what's going on there?
didn't. I chose to take one to the Trey Anastasio show in Hampton Beach Ballroom Casino, which I thought was a little bit better than.
That's a better time. That's your flavor. That's good.
Barbie would have to show some real dedication on your side.
Well, maybe I took Barbie to the hippie show.
Yeah.
Let's never question how intricate Michael is to this show. He stepped away for 14 seconds, and we are now on Barbie immediately somehow.
Well, it's
Shout
the
out
culture.
Michael for life. Viva la Michael.
Well, you gotta like switch it up a little bit here and there.
Right. That's right.
What do you mean? Instead of using the same Ken and Barbie joke over and over again? No.
What's
What's wrong with monogamy?
All right.
Get out of here.
Valiant effort, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. I'm waiting for my joke later.
All right, let's not overlook that we have JP Horrigan. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Horrigan. And if you're American,
Yeah.
that depends.
Drew, do you need another beer, brother?
Drew, you don't want another one? All right.
So
You're good, huh?
let's
Then
talk
he's driving,
about yeah, he's the driver. He's the
I
driver.
don't drink, but I love the can. It's dope.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about 421 Better Late Than Never. What is this that you're behind?
421
This thing that
Better
you've
Late Than Never.
masterminded, the most perfectly curated Instagram page that
Thank
there
you.
is.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Put a lot of effort into
Let me
that.
check
I can
this out.
see it. Yeah, take a look at it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So 421, better late than never.
Yes.
For the kids at home, that's 420, but a minute later. So better
Just
late
a
than
little
never.
bit late.
Just a little bit later, but better late than never, right? We are the world's first experience branding.
Oh, that's a great. Hold on, let me cut him
ahead.
off.
Cut him off,
He
Ken.
actually,
Cut me up.
he actually totally wasn't bullshitting. If you check his Instagram page out, it's fire. It's perfectly done.
Thank
it's
you.
well curated.
Thank you, sir.
Michael
Appreciate
wasn't
that.
bullshitting.
approved,
All right,
bro.
I did
continue.
many a late night hours in the genius hours doing that in front of a camera. Thanks.
I see that orange sunburst fade, making everybody look like
so
it's golden.
carry
hour.
on with
the black.
whatever it is that 421 Better Late Than Never is. It's clothing.
It's not really clothing, actually.
It's an
Clothing
experience.
It's an
You were
experience.
stating that it's the
Right.
first ever.
experience branding.
Okay.
And I say that pretty strongly.
I can see that about you.
I say
you seem
that
to stand
because
firm with this.
we challenged everybody. We were a nobody company last year.
Yeah.
Our LLC didn't come through to the first week of September. Our second trademark didn't come in till the second or third week of September.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, we had no money. COVID kind of blew our team out of the water. We have the best team in the world that I'll talk about in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Basically, the position we were in was no one knew who we really were. Yeah. We had a lot of big hitters on the team, a lot of people connected, but COVID kind of just deaded any type of momentum we had.
What do you mean big hitters on the team? Who are these big hitters?
So I'll shout out the Obi-Wan Kenobi, Bill, if you're out there, I love you.
Yeah.
My Obi-Wan, my Steve Wozniak, he's Bill Whitehill,
My
the man.
Steve Wozniak.
Yeah, that's what he is. That's what I tell him all the time.
Yeah.
He's not old enough to be Yoda, and he's too cool to be like rickety, so I give him Obi. I respect Bill too much to call him Yoda. That's my boy. But Bill Whitehill, currently one of the art directors at Life is Good Company.
Yeah.
He made the old Reebok logo in the 80s, the black one. He made the old Starter logo.
Look at this.
Bill has a much more respectable resume that I'm going to rally off now, a little stoned, but he's the man. There's not one thing that I could dream of that could be possible without Bill.
Wow.
Doing things. He made our logo. I don't know if could he jump.
What's the logo? Yeah, jump on up in here.
Drew stand? Drew,
come right in front of this little
MVP,
thing here.
One of my main mans right here, Drew.
Yeah.
Shout out Drew. Is that a good spot right there?
Right there. Yeah, bend down just a little bit.
Bend down a little bit.
There we go. Yeah.
If you look at it,
You can see in that camera.
Good
There,
face
look at the
shot.
screen.
for all the artistic eyes out there, if you look at the green, it's a 4. The yellow is a 2. The red is a 1. The 2 dots in the middle make it a digital clock. So we are actually a clock.
Camera right there too.
Yeah.
We are a clock, not a leaf.
Security.
Yeah, incredible. Thank you, Drew. You're the man. Shout out to Drew. Round of applause for the man.
Drew.
Thank you. Great modeling
Possible.
experience there.
Stud.
Yeah.
I pay him big money.
Yeah.
So
So truthfully, at first, I obviously didn't notice. And then when I did notice that it was a 421, which was yesterday, when I saw this on there,
thanks.
I appreciated it more.
Thank you.
Knowing that I immediately identified that it was a 4, a 2, and a 1.
Oh, it's about the small pleasures in life.
Yeah.
And when I tell you
It's
the
the
amount of
little
times
things.
that I have guys or people so confidently, almost borderline arrogantly tell me they see it and almost tell me as if they get it. And then an hour in, they're like, oh my God, it says 421. I'm
I
like,
actually can fuck me.
yeah, it's
That
okay. I love
guys,
it. It happens all the time.
I'm that guy.
Happens all the
I'm
time,
that
baby.
guy. As he's
Catch
saying
me at
it,
any show getting
as he's
challenged,
saying
and
it,
I
my
have some
brain
goofy
just
logo,
goes
and then
ding.
epiphanies happen.
And I'm like,
We
wait,
love
is
it.
that really a 4 or 2?
Buddy, you saw that right away, though.
Thank you.
I honestly didn't.
No.
And most people think they do, but they don't. And Bill did an incredible
No.
job. I think only probably Bill Whitehill could have done that. So again, shout out to our incredible
Yeah,
team.
Bill.
Followed up by John St. Pierre, who's our third partner. He's kind of the.
You better patent that. Somebody's.
Oh
gonna
no, we have
take-
2 trademarks on that.
Yeah.
And so
I was
the
gonna say, somebody's
timeline,
gonna
the story I'm
smack
telling
that
you
for
is.
guys. That's actually super cool.
In September, we were in a position where we didn't have money. COVID was going on. It was hard to go get money. I didn't want to go get money. I have a lot of other projects in my background. I've been a politician. I've been a pastor. I've been on movies, Netflix. I've done clothing brands forever. I've done a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And so I'm very
Right.
anti taking other people's money. I thought
Fits
we could
right
do
in.
something that where we didn't need to do that. We would do it a new way. And we went out, and September we became an LLC first week. I drafted the trademark documents myself. I just Googled, YouTubed for countless hours one night, just smoked a bunch of weed and just watched successful trademarks over and over again. And I just drafted and put it in myself because we didn't have the money to put the lawyer in. The Instagram, we didn't have money for designers, so I paid for the models. I picked the things myself. I just YouTubed how to use Instagram. I wasn't an Instagrammer before that. Same thing with the website. We didn't have the website people. We didn't have the money for it, so I just found the cheapest way to do it ourselves. And pretty much everything that we could get, we shoveled all into September that year because somebody on the West Coast started using 421, better late than never, as a saying, even though we had a trademark. And so I had a partner, one of the partners, not Bill and not me, was very upset about it, and he wanted to kind of stop it. So I said, well,
Took
just let
some
him do
action?
it. Yeah, no, I was like, no, why give him action? Like, 421 is fire. It's dope. His show's better for being called our name.
Yeah.
He's nowhere near us. And everybody knows who we are anyways. It doesn't make a difference to me, really, if you just let them do it. And so I was like, we'll just make the best product ever. And when people hear 421, they'll just naturally think of
So
us.
you're a good person. You're like, there's no reason to take
Well, I didn't even
somebody
care.
down
I didn't even
right
care because I
now.
knew we were hot and I knew what we were going to bring to market no one could touch. So why even bother with the guy? He was a good guy. He's trying his best. He's hustling. He doesn't know us. It's not like it's a anti-us thing, you know?
So you've had success with the brand?
We killed it. Yeah, so that first week, we killed it, dude. We killed it. We shout out to Gary Summers. I'm going to give you a great shout out, Gary Summers. We LLC first week, the trademark comes through. I was told 6 months. It came through in 3 weeks. I was told with a lawyer it would take 6 months. Our trademark came through in 3 weeks. It was a miracle of God. Shout out God.
That is exceptional.
God is number
Mutty
one.
agrees with
miracle
that too.
and 100%. And so we did that, and we met Gary Summers at a flea market doing something promos. He had a cannabis show, which ended up being Nikan's first recreational show, which was High Lifestyle show 2 years ago. We just had our second one this past September.
Yeah.
Gary says there's room in the show. We probably book a table the second and a half week of September. We're working with a garment maker at the time. We conceptualize something that no one had ever done. We force it. We order the garments. We sleep in the place to print. I mean, we were printing in through the event. I mean, going to the event all day, going back to the print shop, sleeping there, doing the work, going back to the event.
We all know that routine.
You know that life, of course you got to do. So,
yes.
Yeah, and I just refused because everybody said we couldn't do it. We have QR codes, we have features, we're numbered. I'll tell you all about it. But what we did with the garment, at the quality, at the speed, in the time frame, I knew no one could touch it. So we came in with a lot of confidence because I knew there was going to be brands who earned more spotlight, had done the work, they've been around forever.
Yeah.
We knew there was brands that had exciting things going on. We knew there was brands that put a lot of money into it, and we had none of those things. So we had to be different. And so we just pushed for the ultimate edge of different, something no one could do. And we showed up to High Life, and I would say we probably were the most successful team there. We sold out at a show that was an incredible show. I think a lot of people aren't going to shows anymore. I don't know if anybody's noticing that. Attendance isn't really there for everybody's show, not just a particular show. The quality of show is incredible. We had a line out the door even when people were packing up. We still had a line out the door. We got Cheech in there. We got the Whalers in there. We got a lot of people in our hoodies, and it was organic.
Let's see the hoodie here that you have on.
So I have our very first experience hoodie.
Yeah.
It's called the Banana Mac Experience.
Banana Mac?
Banana Mac Experience.
Yeah, boy. I like that.
It was a 100-piece drop. So
Yellow
every single
haze.
piece is numbered right here on the cuff.
Yeah.
If you look there, 1 through 100, so every single individual knew which one they were. Again, the saying is we don't make people feel special, we make them actually special. So even in a limited, cultivated experience, you even have a unique individual experience amongst unique individuals.
It's really cool.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I'm going to hop up, and it might be easier because I have a lot of features on the hood.
That,
We had tens.
Yeah, so first here you
Let's
see.
see.
I'm going to turn to them and show them in a second, but this is a banana.
Wow.
QR codes in there, you
Oh,
see that?
cool.
You already know Drew's the man. You see
To the
that?
camera.
My guy, am I right here?
Boom.
I needed that anyways. Am I right here? Or am I
Hey, look to the main one right there. Yeah.
Bend down a little bit. You're gonna have
Look
to
in the
do
camera over there. You can see where you're at, by
Yeah, you're
Patrick.
gonna have to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's perfect.
That's
That's
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Okay.
Yeah, that has your head right to your waist.
What we have going on here is we have our bananas with our logo on it. It's super high quality. That was a big thing. I knew with the amount of hits that we were bringing to market.
Yeah.
We have 7 or 8 hits on here, and if anybody makes clothes, you realize how difficult that is to continue to add hits and keep a price.
Yes, 100% know all about it.
Especially
Yeah.
a high quality one.
Yeah.
So this is super high quality. You can, scratch the crap out of it. Inside
Scratch
here-
and sniff.
Right, inside here is a QR code.
Banana.
We originally had a conversation where we shouldn't say too many racy things, but my brother back here broke the seal. So if you go here, there's a QR code to go to a profile. It goes to an actual breakdown of the terpenes of a legal cannabis that came with this, that we partnered with the cannabis dispensary with.
I hope it was a banana strain.
So it tells you when to use it, how to use it, the pros, the cons.
JP, was it a banana strand?
It was a Banana Mac strain.
Wow.
One crest, a banana OG, I bet.
Right.
Yeah.
So to put in perspective,
It was.
by unique cultivated experience. When we got the plant, we didn't just buy X amount of plant and distribute it. We bought an entire organic plant, a small batch craft plant.
Jump back in your seat here, unless you're showing more effects. What else you got? Let's see the other effects first. Yeah.
I'll go quick.
Show the effects. No, just because we're going to hear you better here. So show what you got going on.
So I got in the back right here. If I put my hoodie on, I look like a banana.
Yeah.
If you look in the front right here, I have another QR code. So this went to the profile of your weed. This goes to a playlist that I cultivated that's perfect for the vibe of the weed.
Wow.
right
A
here.
curated playlist with the QR code.
Sir, we took the mashup from the High Lifestyle show. We took their logo and our logo. We put a very tiny, almost impossible for anybody else to mimic QR code that still works after hundreds of washes. And it goes to a lifetime discount code. We only did that for these customers and for Hexpo, which we have coming up. We'll talk about.
Yeah.
So those are our features. It also came with comic books and
There's like
Yu-Gi-Oh
7
cards.
different hits on that
8
hoodie.
Brad, on the front.
8.
We're at
Slow
8.
down, buddy. We're at 8. Yeah.
It's high quality. You can feel it. It's a good quality. It's very soft. You'd want to wear it. I wore probably 15 different garments before I chose this one.
Yeah.
And we came to it with a very different concept. We weren't trying to be a brand that bought a bunch of clothes and we were a clothing brand, and then the weight of the brand and the inventory on the team became a weight, which happens to everybody in the industry, or none. I didn't want that to happen to us. What I wanted to do was bring something to market that was different and unique, and there was no way to doubt it, that we didn't have to say it whispering. We didn't have to say, oh, we're one of a kind, or we're the best, or we're the number one. We didn't have to say it in a way that it fit, that I could say it very loudly and it could be true. So the quality was there. The features were there. We also cultivate pins and stickers and features that come with this. So this has a unique pin set that we'll show later maybe, and three pins with monkeys, 5 different pins, a sticker. The only people in the world that got that set came with this.
Really?
So what you'll see is in the wild, we call it, is you'll actually, and it happens all the time, shout out Diamond Frost in the wild. What will happen is, thanks. What will happen is they won't have the garment on. Right, they won't have the garment on. They'll have a pin on or a sticker on. And then maybe somebody will have a Hexpo pin, and they'll actually bump into each other, and it happens often. Where like, you must have been at High Lifestyle Show because you have that pin. You must know Bobby Nuggs
Creating
or JP
connections
from Hexpo because you have that sticker. There's no other way to have it, and that was another big thing for me. I think the world's missing community. I don't think that 421 is exclusively a cannabis brand. I think experience branding is going to be major. I think cannabis just was a great engine to move it because there's so many experiences that are new in cannabis to cultivate. But I do think that going forward, regardless of brand or clothing or project or business, it's the world is losing community, right? And money is based on community. The transfer of money, the benefit of money, all the benefits around community.
I feel like the world is telling us that we are losing community, but in actuality, when you step out of your house and you go into the world and you actually interact with real humans, that is not true. I think a lot of what people are saying outwardly is not real, that there is this overwhelming amount of bad things happening versus good is not real, because I'm out in the world. I'm in the wild, bro.
Right, baby.
I deal with thousands of people every single week, and I'm just being realistic. There's a lot of good that happens in the world, and we're just not talking about it, and everybody's running around saying the world is falling apart, and it's ultimately been falling apart in the same way forever. And there's been great things happening throughout. But as humans, we tend to dwell on misery and these terrible things and let that linger and talk about it, as opposed to when something good happens in our lives, when the energy is high and we have this great experience. We talk about it for a day. We don't let that last a month. So by nature, people for some reason are just stressing that there's bad things happening, but I'm just telling you that it mostly is not real. There's a lot more good happening in the world than evil.
You know what? I would like to pick you. You're 100% right. Thank you for saying that, because I was going to say, I find now if you're somebody who loves people and you actually care about people and you're a genuinely good person, it's easier than ever to be that person. Because I used to be a pastor. I was 19 to 25, I traveled the world. I spoke. I did big tent revivals. I went overseas. I did ministry work. And back then, it used to be so difficult to be nice to people. Life was good for people, so they were actually less willing to interact with you.
Less receptive of this.
And now that you've corrected me, I do realize I have seen a shift since COVID, not just recently, since COVID. As things have gotten worse, if you care about people and you want them to feel special and you want them to feel cared about, and you actually do that, it's easier than ever and you shine brighter than ever.
Bro, I'm out there talking to, like, literally having probably 1,000 conversations from Thursday through Sunday every week, sometimes more than that. And there's a hell of a lot of good people in the world. That's all I'm saying.
Nobody gets past that screen these days.
Yeah.
You know, I saw something online, coincidentally. Someone was like,
everybody's looking at their phones.
Someone says this, and it made me think, and I put it down. If you want to know what it's like to feel like an addict, take your cell phone and put it on the table and don't touch it all day. And then think about how many times you think about touching it. That's what an addict goes through when they try to, like, withdraw from something. And
that's
come
wonderful. It's a great comparison.
Yeah, we've come so accustomed to, like, using this thing and looking at it and communicating through it that our sense of community has gone that way. Yeah. But you're right, because when you touch people and you actually look at them in the eye, it creates a different response. Because anybody can write anything.
Yeah.
Anybody can.
Yeah.
But to talk to somebody and to tell them how you feel, and look them in the eye creates a totally different
I'll be
sensation.
saying that to people like, hey, look at me in the eyes. What I'm saying right now is real. And it's like, just this weekend, 1,000 people in front of me. I'm like, yeah, hold on. Just to be sure, look me in the eyes, everybody up here that can see me, because that connection, that's
where it comes down to, because a lot of people don't leave the house anymore after COVID.
Yeah.
Well, I would say back to what we were
scary.
talking about too. That's where the value, I think, is. If it's not just in a clothing brand or a dispensary or running a festival, I think the value and where humans are moving towards is when you take time to think about not what my business can make out of this, but what can I do to make the person who meets me feel better, feel bigger, feel more of life when they leave this with the product, whether it's a T-shirt, whether it's an experience at a concert.
Yeah.
I think that's the highest value, and it's only becoming more and more value. The more they push the negative narrative, the more people are appreciating putting the effort in for them.
Yeah.
The value comes when you change their life,
Right.
and you make an impression.
Right.
You know, that's how I felt about cannabis so much, was the fact that, like, when you give somebody something that's weed related that helps cure an ailment, that helps them feel better, like that changes everything.
Right.
You know, and that's why cannabis was such a special thing to me, especially because giving someone a seed gave them the opportunity to cure themselves for whatever ailment they had. Stress, anxiety, inflammation, you name it. All these things, you can do it with that one little seed or that plant.
Yeah. From your shoelace.
From my shoelace.
Sock. Yeah, right. I was going to also say that I think that when it comes to meeting people, right, and all the value of how much they help, I think people are used to things being fake, right?
Yeah,
so they're so used to being duped.
Fake
like, oh, you
news.
got me. Fake news, whatever it is. So people are so used to buying a product, again, whether it's weed, and being told, this is going to get rid of all your pain. This is going to solve all your problems. This is going to be the medicine that saves your life. They go to 5 dispensaries, have 4.5 bad experiences, don't get the right strain, never smoke weed again, get taxed for it, right? Have a terrible experience, and now it's fake. And so they've had another fake experience. I think the same thing with our clothes. We're very, very tight on our inventory. We didn't compromise. We didn't say we made 100 and made 103. You know what I mean? We didn't make 1,500 pin sets and just gave them to everybody. Oh, but you 100 are special. We enforced the numbers so tightly. You know, everything was equal as far as everybody got an intentionality to their thing. And I think that was more important than the garment. I would say that I love my hoodie. I think it's one of the coolest hoodies.
All right, so let's break this down.
I love that hoodie.
Someone came to you, they bought that hoodie. What else did they get? They got the pins.
So they got their pin set. They got their sticker set. They also got a comic book from my collection. They got a set of rare Yu-Gi-Oh cards for my collection. It came with a pack of Scooby snacks. It came with a banana with our sticker on it. It came with their portion of the Banana Mac Experience smoke. It also came with Bill, for the first 2 days of the show. White Hill was there actually drawing on the paper bags, which we had multiple customers buy hoodies off the strength of just getting a bag from Bill, which was awesome and really cool. Bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you. So, and there was probably a couple other things. You also got a little bit of a bragging rights. You were able to say no one else smoked this but Cheech and JP. You know, you were able to say things and you could stand on it. And that was more the point I was making, is that I think the love for our brand, the organic love for our brand, we've never put out a marketing campaign. We've never put money into marketing. We've never tried to push ourselves in any type of real way. We've never paid for another company to help us do that. We've never strived to even really do anything other than we wake up every day. God put something in my heart that's a concept that I think will make people feel very special. It usually is partnered with people we respect, like Bobby Nuggs, for example, and Bailey Nuggs, the homies, who I love so much. Shout out Bobby Nuggs. Shout out Bailey Nuggs. We got Hexpo coming up this weekend. And that's one of those things, you know, for Hexpo, it worked out for me because I really love and respect those two. So it made sense to us to make a dope project. Like, they didn't have to ask us to do it. They didn't have to push for it. I wanted to make sure that whatever we did brought life to Bobby and Bailey.
Mike, are you hearing all this?
Yeah.
So he's like really into making people feel good too, just like, you know, some other guy.
That's why
I know.
I'm into it.
What's
That's
the
why
value
attention.
to your customer?
So the value is you buy a unique experience that no one else can.
We get that. Right? I get that. What is it? I hate using the word cost because cost is something,
right?
Cost is something monetary.
Right. No,
it's
I agree.
value to them.
You can imagine. I appreciate you preferencing that, because as the artist guy, I hate having the money conversation because it's where like dreams go to die.
Yeah, totally.
And so I knew right away the project was impossible if money was going to make or break it, because money was going to make and break it.
Well, you're also giving away personal stuff.
Right.
Like, that is invaluable.
I would argue that with the right connections, because we had the right garment connection, we had the right printer, we had the right relationship, we leveraged a perfect storm where I was able to provide this garment with the features at about an $80 cost.
Oh, that's awesome.
And still make my $20.
That's awesome.
Because what happened for me was, again, it's always about, I think,
I thought he was going to tell me it was $421.
Me too.
You know,
well, I will say this.
Well,
Since then,
that's what
we
it's
have.
worth.
Look at the monkeys on his shirt. See no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil, with a J hanging out.
Yeah.
Smoke no evil.
We do have a really crazy aftermarket market. Once we drop, we have kids that will offer me $300, $400, $500 off the press because they want number 3, they want number 8. We have a
What do they call it?
a die-hard organic backing.
I've never had that much of a personable experience of buying a sweatshirt.
Well, I
and
think
I've
that's
definitely
great. That got
spent
you
more
into a
than
concert.
$80 on a sweatshirt
100%,
before.
yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
If it came with a fucking bag of weed and some other shit,
I was saying,
sign me up twice.
I was saying earlier, we got to see Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead
Am I
for
allowed to say that?
$90.50. But if you got a little square, a paper square, and that would have been a hell of a show. And then,
Oh my God!
And I will say
that
this,
experience is epic.
not to go oversell, but
It's for real.
don't you let that deal go down.
Is Banana Max still in the pocket?
So here's the deal. So again, the cost was 80. The actual retail price was 100. So and why I say it's important, and anybody listening who's trying to be creative and different, is we didn't approach it as we're a company who needs to make money. I pretty much fight and lose my team 9
If
times
anybody
a week.
I know starts making sweatshirts strain related after this, you're dead to me.
Hey,
All right,
listen,
keep going.
everybody I know who did it this year, thanks for trying, but
Yeah.
it was awesome to watch. So the big thing is that I actually think that we could do a lot more things. More things. What stopped me from doing more was we had a concept that no one believed in. Being able to put this many hits on a high quality garment that quickly, everyone who was
They're all unique.
I've made clothing before. That's like every time
everything I just said
it's
is
like
death.
$10 on it.
Yeah,
Like,
everything I just said to you is death.
Yeah.
And so the
and there's
idea
6. How many
You
hits
liked
are
it,
on
right?
that?
8.
Scratch
Yeah,
and
dude,
sniff.
that's crazy.
And
like,
they're not
Nice.
bad. And so the approach I had, and I would tell anybody to approach it this way, is that we didn't buy inventory, pressure inventory, try to sell inventory, and do like the cycle. I made a project that was so unique that I knew 100 people would kill to get their hands on it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to be convinced that it would sell because I knew there was at least 100 humans in the world who were going to be like, I want to have the Cheech experience. I
keep
want to
it
say
small batch and it'll be cool forever.
forever.
Johnny, we have an artist friend who's a great musician, and he's a hip hop guy, blues guy. Our friend G.
Yeah.
I think G would love this, and our other good friend.
I appreciate that.
I think G would love that. I think he would be into it.
He's in the special sauce. They're super
Well,
talented.
yeah, G love the special
We're all
sauce.
about it. The only thing I say to people is,
Do you have any bands going with you yet?
so we get asked all the time. Kind of the way that things played out for us was September we came in hot.
Everything.
October we were hot. We came through December, and December came, and Bill was very wrapped up with Life is Good, obviously for obvious reasons.
Yeah, my other friend Donovan Frankenreiter, who I saw at the Life is Good festival. Remember when they did that back in the day?
Yeah.
And I met one of the owners from Life is Good, but maybe don't. I mean,
Everybody knows Bill, and Bill hangs out. They all
Yeah.
go hiking together. They're a bunch of cool guys.
Totally.
And, we were in a position where Bill had responsibilities. He also has a family and family responsibilities. John had responsibilities. I had responsibilities. We had got really fiery really quickly.
that's cool.
And there was all this pressure to keep going. And in my heart, I really believe with all my heart, God was just telling us to kind of pump the brakes. And it was cool enough. We didn't have to keep hitting it. We didn't have to keep being everybody's face. We knew
Grassroots.
we knew we had the right heart about it. We knew we had the right demeanor about it. We had the right vision. I know where we're headed, and I didn't think it needed to be a rush. And so we focused from December up until probably this past week of being totally underground, no activity publicly, and we've just served other people's visions. The Bible says, be faithful with another man's vision. He'll make you ruler over your own. And so we spent the last 6-7 months that anybody, again, like I really respect and love Bailey. I really love and respect Bobby. Dougie Draper, we got a bunch of the Hitman stuff out here, and we got our duffel bag from Hitman. And
Yeah.
I just started finding all the guys who are a little older, who I thought had put in a bunch of time, who it seemed like they had some war wounds on them, who reminded me a lot of myself going through a lot of projects when I was younger and didn't have help. Even though they're older, I could see.
How old are you now?
I'm 32 now.
Crikey. When I was young, yeah.
Would you believe me if I told you I ran for mayor of the largest town in America at 25?
I think that's epic, man.
Yeah, I almost won. I was close.
Fuck, you went
Once
for
upon
it.
a time.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I only say to say that, like, I just feel like when I see older guys who, again, like I see like a Bob, he comes to mind, he's been in the game for 20 years, fought the good fight, did it when it was dangerous, when it wasn't cool, when it wasn't popular, and he deserves a couple good guys coming
Pioneer.
around. Yeah, he was a pioneer. And Bailey too, and a lot of the other guys, and they deserve just good, wholehearted help, just like supporting. And it's not like, it's not that hard to give out flyers to my connections. It's not that hard.
It's like what we're doing right here, offering something,
It's not that hard.
Bunch of
to
bros
show
and
up.
grassroots.
They deserve it.
I mean, everybody in this room, I love, and I love you now, too.
I love you too. Yeah, you might not actually. Dude, you got to come join our racing league, man.
I love it, dude.
Racing.
I'll race.
Yeah, I'm going to start a cannabis racing league. I'm going to start a whole bunch of
Ride
cannabis
dirt
leagues.
bikes, snowmobiles, surfboards.
I'm going to start with F1 go-karts, the souped-up go-karts.
Yeah.
I come from Salisbury, man. Home was
go.
hear about the go-karts in Salisbury Beach.
Yeah.
I think it was what was that movie? Perfect Storm. We're gonna go to Salisbury Beach and ride the go-karts so we get home.
Did they used to have ATVs right down there too?
They had ATVs too.
Yeah, that's right where the new
and dirt
condo
bikes.
complex is, right?
Yeah, that was supposed to be.
That was my favorite spot. My dad
was
used
supposed
to
to be
take me to Salisbury Beach.
Nanowitz is what it was
My
called.
dad used to have a trailer park over there.
I know the guy who made the whale there.
That's dope.
Yeah, serious.
I love it.
I got a lot of history. My dad moved there in 1933.
What did your parents do, if you don't mind me asking?
My father owned a lot of property and was a self-made guy in Salisbury Beach. He had a construction company. He was discharged out of the Navy when he was 20 for rheumatoid arthritis. Actually, the mobile station right here, he had to sell that to go into the vets hospital here in Newburyport. It's probably worth $3 million today. And that's what we do for our vets.
That could have been millions for you, Patrick.
Well, you know what I could do with that?
Right.
Aren't you on family land though?
I am on. Well, we have some family land back in Sauls, and we have some more family land. And so we have a long history in Sauls of
I was more hoping for
motels.
some weird stuff because they made a unique kid. I was trying to figure out how you ended up like this, but
Well, my father was a workaholic. My mother is a workaholic too. She's very smart.
That's a lunatic.
She should be on. She should be on Jeopardy, and they got a genetic mutant
so
like
what
me.
you're saying is you didn't know your parents were mad scientists. They hid it from you well.
Yeah, I've never done a steroid in my life.
They hid
People
it from
can't
you
believe
well.
it.
Yeah, right.
And
Doesn't
I'm
even touch
46.
any
I'm
weights
just
either.
Your
naturally.
parents used to test you. You don't even remember.
Yeah, I got some great parents. I love them much, and Johnny knows my family very well, and
Very, very nice
I have
people.
a very loving family, and Johnny's well accepted into him.
Welcome to
Are
the
you a
We Love the
Salisbury
Hall family. Y'all.
guy too?
No,
You're a made man in
I mean-
Salisbury now.
Pat and I both ran his surf shop for a while together. So
in Northeast
I
boat
spent a
culture.
lot of time in Salisbury. You could say that I'm from
I lived at my house.
part of Salisbury,
He's humble.
Saul's
He's a made
life.
man now,
But
right?
no, I'm not from Salisbury. I grew up in Haverhill. I was born
He's
in
genuine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was born at Anna Jake's. Yeah.
I was born in Anna Jake's too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
That makes us like actual blood brothers, I think.
Yeah. Well, I consider Johnny my little brother. That's why I kind of I don't pick on him. I mess with him because I love him.
Yeah,
So
that's
Pat
what
and
I
I-
say to the boys.
Pat and
You know
I
what
play
I
in a
mean?
band together. We both play guitar and sing, and
Right.
he says that type of shit into the microphone. And
No, I understand.
It's fucking.
He brings all the
horrible.
girls.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely not cool.
It's so horrible. I've walked off stage. I've taken my guitar
all
off,
salty,
and gotten a drink,
swing.
and just waited for 5 minutes.
See,
Like, yeah.
we have a rule. Ask the
So he'll
boys.
do that to me, and I'll make him sing a whole song by himself.
We
So
crushed it the
joke's
last
on
game.
him.
That's awesome.
We had over 30 people on a Thursday night come to see us play, and it was crazy on a Thursday night. And we're still doing it.
Nice.
That's
Where
what's
at?
cool. It was at the spot in Georgetown, Mass.
Are we getting invites now?
Yeah, you guys are in.
We're in.
Making money.
I think we're gonna promote.
Doing what you love.
Well, we're gonna do the Wednesday night there, Michael, before Thanksgiving.
Where are we? The spot?
Yeah, the spot. I don't
They
know. It's
want
kind of
you?
like our home show now.
You gotta ask Evolvement Music, bro.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was gonna
Evolvement
say.
Music.
I don't
I'll
have
put
a
it in
pull.
for us, Pat.
We gotta talk to the bosses. We do love Evolvement Music, by the way. They treat us very
Shout out
well.
Involvement Music.
I love you,
In the
Evolvement.
studio, all that.
Thank you for all the
Evolvement
games.
Music loves you.
I don't think we
they
get
love
taxed a
the percentage
24-hour
they
fee,
take.
but
Yeah.
All your stuff running?
Dog.
Oh yeah, everything feels great. Did I hear you mention something about being on a Netflix program?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
So this hat is actually from a show called The Society. We were number 2 on Netflix for a little while.
Look at that. And what was your role in this show?
I was
I'm sorry,
the,
I don't watch much television.
No, it was a teenage show. I was like a 26-year-old playing a 19 or 18-year-old. So it's, shout out Alex McElnoy. Shout out Catherine Newton. Shout out Natasha, the squad.
Look at that.
But yeah, this is before Catherine was big. I don't know if you know, she was in Ant-Man. She was in Pikachu. This was like back when she was still just starting off. And I was the Easter egg. So
You were the Easter egg?
yeah. And
What
so
does that mean?
So what happened is that I had ran for mayor. I had owned Angry Hams and Framingham, a club afterwards. Things got a little different. And I had friends in town who were connected to the film industry.
Yeah.
They had offered, thought that maybe I needed a break from town politics and fight fights at a young age and things like that.
just a scandal in Framingham.
There's always a scandal in Framingham. let's not even segue. We'll need a whole new series for that conversation. But anyway, some good friends of mine were like, you're way too young and wasting all your youth fighting adults to change the world, and it doesn't want to change, and you just need to go try something different. So I said, no, I'm not a TV guy. I'm Italian. So I was raised like, being actors underneath being a woman of the night. So I never had.
Wait, what?
Woman of the night.
There's certain things that I grew up thinking that were
didn't
not
know
okay.
this.
I just didn't think we're okay. I never wanted to be an actor. That's not something that is like my dream thing before we start getting into that.
Okay. So how did it happen?
So
then?
I say no to a bunch of projects, but when you get
Wait, why are
bookings-
people approaching you to be an actor?
So I joined an agency, Boston Casting. Shout out Boston Casting.
yeah.
Shout out Angela. I love you the most.
Yes.
And
maybe we're in the guild.
I joined the agency, and the agency will send
Face
you
man.
bookings through emails. I said no to like a dozen because I did not care to be on TV.
Yeah.
But then one day I fight with my girlfriend. Everybody's being stressed. I'm like, you know what? I'm disappearing. I'm going to movie sets. Like,
That's right.
I'm gonna
Look
take the
at
set.
that, yeah.
So I show up, and it's like 4 a.m. casting call out in. We were out in Lancaster, is where we shot a lot of that project. The majority of it for 4.5 months was a lot of it was there. And what happens is I show up at 4 a.m. I wore a J hat. I make these J hats. This is an old brand of mine.
Is that for a J?
It's for Jesus, actually.
Oh.
It's actually for Jesus. It's a different conversation. Yeah, it's for Jesus, actually. It's a Jesus hat.
Look at
I'm Irish Catholic.
I had a pink Jesus hat, a pink J hat that I made for Chance the Rapper that I never got to give him. It's kind of my lucky hat. So I wore it to set as lucky because I wasn't uncomfortable. I'd done a lot of things on TV. I had debated and stuff, but I'd never been on a movie set. Like, what's a movie set? When I show up to wardrobe, there's a nice Italian woman behind the desk, and she's talking. She's being so sweet to me, and she goes, "Sweetie, can you take off your hat? Like, your face is so handsome. Can I look at your face?" And I take off my hat. She goes, "Are you the mayor kid?" I say, "Yes, ma'am, I'm the mayor kid." And she's like, "I'm from Natick," which is right next to Framingham. She's like, "We love you. You're the mayor kid. What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't win." She's like, "You should have." I was like, "But I didn't. So I'm here hanging out with you. What's up?" And she's like, "This is so funny." So she introduces me to everybody there. And I had this pink hat on, and it started as a total joke. I'm talking, I'm the bottom, nobody, never been on set. I'm
For a taste.
there's a barrel. I'm the piss under the barrel. Sorry, man.
right.
Whatever. I'm the
Under piss
bottom.
boy.
Under at the bottom. Way under. That's where I was. Yeah. And so she says, "You know what would be so funny? Wear the hat." I recognize the hat because didn't you wear a blue one during your thing? I'm like, I did wear a blue J hat during my campaign. She's like, wear it. It'll be funny.
Yeah.
Well, what ends up happening is we go out. There's 400 of us out in this crowd. I don't know what the heck's going on. Some random guy goes, "If there's any actors here, I need 30 actors who can be here in 2 months." And I don't even know what he's saying.
Yeah.
And everyone is raising their hands, so I'm like, well,
You're like, yeah, man, I'm in on that.
in,
Let's
whatever.
get it going.
So he names 29 people, and then he goes, "Tall kid in the back with the pink hat. Go to the bus." I'm like, all right, I'm going to the bus. So
Bus came by and I got on.
So I'm walking on the bus, and as we're coming on the bus, there's seats with X's and seats with no X's and seats with one X, and then seats with 2 X's and seats with no X's. And my little pea brain thinks, well, there must be a reason there's X's here, so I'm going to sit next to one of the X's that doesn't have an X next to it, like an open seat.
Yeah.
Ends up being the main cast, comes and sits down, and my hat ends up being with the main cast and the opening scene and all those things. So that steamrolls, long story short, until I'm there every day for 4.5 months. I end up being a significant part where when someone will die, you'll see me take off my hat for the first time in the background. When something bad's about to happen, I walk through the back, and it became like this underground cultish I sold so many. I mean, it just
Holden
blew up. The hat
Caulfield with
blew
his
up.
red hat.
Right, and it caused a bunch of drama. This hat is actually because of drama. So my hat was bright pink. The first 2.5 months, we filmed 4 or 5 episodes. It's like 2.5 weeks an episode or something like that. The Netflix execs never looked at the footage. So the crew and the directors, and if you know anything about film, directors change every 2 weeks or every week to an episode. So there was no communication. There was my pink hat and my distinct face around all the cast constantly in a show where the color scheme is maroon and gray. No pink anything. So the Netflix execs see it and they're like, what the F? They flip out. Then they find out it's my brand.
Oh, golly, that's awesome.
It's my brand, and then it's a big deal. Thank God I had a lot of beloved friends that were high up there. They protected my butt. They took the heat. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was just a fun thing that organically happened. It's nobody's fault.
Yeah.
I get told.
Let us have some hats, player.
No, brother, you like this. So it was a pink hat.
I'm ready.
It was a pink hat. So I get told if you ever wear the pink hat again, you're never working on Netflix again, nothing. Like, people are going to lose their jobs. It won't be funny. It's not going to be cool. Don't push it. I say, all right, bet. But I come to set the next day after 2 months of like being the man on set, which is no problem, but having like my best friends I ate with every day didn't even recognize me. The kids I worked with for 2.5 months didn't even recognize who I was without the hat on.
They saw the hat.
All they saw was the hat. So a day goes by, I go through this miserable, lonely feeling of like I went from kind of being cool to like literally a loser.
We have him take the hat off in front of the camera real quick, see what he looks like without no. He's got the flow.
There it is.
Kind of a Bradley
He's still
Cooper
he's
flow.
like, I gotta have the hat. I gotta have the hat.
Long story short, what happens is 2 days go in and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna try a black one, a black J hat. So I show up to set with the black J hat with the white one. If you look for 2 episodes, episodes 7 and 8, you'll see me with the black.
Society is the show.
The Society on Netflix. I'm in a bunch of Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. My hat's in that too, and a couple other things. But ultimately, what happens is I wear the black hat. And what happens is as I'm in wardrobe being scolded for wearing the J hat, I have a black J hat on, but they only see it as the pink one. So I go 2 full episodes, 5 weeks almost,
you do
wearing
it
this
again.
black hat.
Good for you.
Look at
So
you.
then I come in set one day.
Looking at you a little like,
fucking love
is this
it.
all right?
This isn't even done yet. This isn't even done. This isn't even done yet. So what happens is that after about 2.5 weeks or whatever, getting away with it, the AD who I had made friends with and I had made friends with the cast comes charging in and is like, what the blickety blick? And I'm like, brother, what? And I have the J hat on my head, mind you. The black J hat's on my head.
Oh, yeah.
And he's telling me, he says, how many times did I tell you? This is not funny. My kids, and he's really hurt because he's feeling like I wore this pink hat behind his back, and he had already had this heart-to-heart with me about people's families are fed on this project, which I totally understand. And he's yelling at me like, let me see the pink hat. I'm taking it. You're never wearing it again. I said, it wasn't a pink hat. He's like, no, I heard you had the J hat on. I said, it wasn't a pink hat. He says, I heard. I said, he grabs the hat and he has it in his hand.
It's the hat that he's bitching about.
He has the hat and he's telling me, I told you not to wear the pink. And I said, brother, I've been wearing a black one. Look at your hand. He looks at it and has like an epiphany. He wants to kill me and also wants to laugh.
Yeah.
Right. So he has to be stunned. He just puts his head down. He kind of looks at me and he's like, no more, kid, all right? And he just chuckles. He's like, just no more. And it was like the best case scenario for me. Okay, no more. So no more, no problem. The next day, the thing is while this was going on, shout out
You
Netflix.
still have the J hat on now.
To this day.
That's great.
I'll die in this
true
shit.
to it.
I jump die high. So anyway, shout out Netflix. I'm sorry about this. What happens is that the hat became so popular that Netflix asked me, where are you making your hats? The crew said, we want to make hats for the actual casting crew. We want to go to your guy. I said, perfect. So I set him up with my guy who makes my hats. They go in there, give him the color schemes this is the color scheme of the high school from the show. And so I go to see him. I'm like, hey, Brody. He's like, what's up? I said, I need a J hat. He's like, what do you need? I said, whatever the specs are for their colors and whatever they're running for the school, run me a J hat. And the school's West Ham, so I put hams on it. I also own a bar named Angry Hams, so it worked. Framing Ham, so it worked. And so I put hams on it, and for the last 3.5, 4 weeks, triple down, baby, triple down.
I love JP.
I cleaned house. I
you,
wore in
man.
a bunch of episodes. It basically ends where one of the last days of set, we're in a huge ocean of people. It's one of the final days of set. I'm in the middle, super tall, and I shout out our ADs. The AD has a bullhorn. She just goes, Joshua effing Horrigan. And I was like, yes, ma'am. She says, is that a J hat on your head? I said, it might be, ma'am. She said, who gave you that J hat? I said, I don't know, ma'am. She said, obviously somebody gave you the J hat. Who? And she starts yelling. She says, who gave him a West Ham J hat? I said, I made it, ma'am. I made it, ma'am. And that's exactly what happened. I saw for a second. She put the bullhorn down. She started clapping. The whole place, the whole set erupted, and the J-Hat became kind of iconic. And then I snuck it into Hollywood projects for about 2 years after that. I would play features, stand-in work, featured work, and I would just fit my J-Hats into my wardrobe.
Just fuck with
Shout
them.
out Jesus, the J-Hat.
Yeah.
Big shout out to you for pushing that through all the way there. I like the angle.
Awesome, yeah.
That's probably one of the best stories I've heard of the show so far.
There you go.
Right?
Man, I got a
at
funny
that, I
one with
don't
Sean
know.
Levy, but
Yeah.
No doubt.
I got a funny story.
What do you
Anyways.
got?
It's a great story.
You know Sean Levy, the guy who
I don't know
he
what that
directed Cheaper by the Dozen. He directed Free Guy. He directed
I'm the worst with
It's
anything.
all right. I'm actually
like
worse with it, too.
television related.
Stranger Things.
I've heard those
guy,
words.
Director of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're on set with Joe Keery. We're on set with Taika Waititi, and
Yeah.
I get pulled from feature work. I'm on the project to be featured as like a tech. I'm hired to be like a tech worker in the back of the office.
Yeah.
And they come into the cafeteria one day and they're looking, and in Hollywood, it's like desperation constantly. Like everybody's desperate to be seen. And I feel like if you're not like that, it's so easy to like to smell it everywhere. It's like, you know?
Should I try to hide it, Demulas?
Yeah, right. So like I'm sitting there eating my food, and I knew important people must have came in because all of a sudden it's like that scene from near, like they're like looking for people. Everyone's heads going up. There's like monkey sounds coming from the crowd. It's like a whole fucking weird thing going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? And they're looking for a stand-in. And they picked some kid, and I don't know what they're looking for, but he definitely wasn't as tall or as cool as I am. He's a cool kid, but I just assumed.
you're pretty
so
cool.
they grab him, and they start taking him, and I just stand up, and I just meet eyes with the girl, and she literally lets go of his hand, and it's like him. So I'm like, perfect. Grabs me, we walk up. I tell you this because this is going to end with disappointment. This one's a heartbreak.
Bring me the
This
heartbreak,
one's not
baby.
as fun as the last one. So what
like
happens
heartbreak.
is
Make me sad.
I was working so hard for this moment, you know. I didn't want to be an actor, and then all of a sudden I'm in on the acting thing. So you want to do it well, you don't want to do it
Yeah,
bad,
of
right?
course. Put it all out there.
Right now, important people, rich, powerful white women are pulling me by the hand and saying nice things to me. So I know I've made it. I've
Are those cougars?
Yeah,
Powerful white women are
I
holding
can't say
your
that shouts in the
hand.
industry, right? And I feel like that's how you know you kind of made it.
We
You
ain't
kinda
closing the
made it.
game,
Yeah,
boy.
I'm saying.
It is.
I'm saying there's a couple signs. That's one of them. And so they had bought out one of the buildings downtown in Boston. It was the first closed set I ever had been on. What I mean by that is usually on set you will leave to go to wardrobe, and then there'll be like a cafeteria holding for extras, and the actors will have an air. And there's all these different set places. This was all in a building. So they bought this big, fancy building, bought all 46 floors, and every floor was staged as either a scene, or it was the holding for extras, or it was wardrobe, or whatever it was. And so
46 floors. That's fuck you money, right?
Right. Totally. Oh yeah, dude. In Boston. Oh, yeah, dude. You've never seen money spent. You have never seen money spent until you've seen Hollywood spend money. When you see Hollywood spend money, it make you sick.
Yeah.
It make you sick. It's sick, dude. And so all this is
Hollywood money.
Hollywood money.
Oh, let's call it fuck you money.
It's pretty fucking money. Hopefully my nieces
In the
aren't watching
words
this.
of
I love it.
Phall Roots. Yeah, that's your language. Yeah.
Long story short, dope set, really cool. Thinking I'm making it, they're grabbing me, they're bringing me up. Taika Waititi, which if you know who he is, he directed Thor. He got an Oscar for. He did a Hitler movie a couple years ago that got an Oscar for. He's incredible, one of the most gifted.
I was up
humans.
for Thor.
You could have been Thor, kid.
I was close.
In a couple years, you're gonna be old Thor. You're gonna live.
Old Thor. There it is.
You're gonna
Thor,
live.
Grandpa.
Grandpa Thor.
There I am on an island town with a fisherman's sweater on.
Right place at right time, right? So what ends up happening is they're pulling me up and they're telling me it's for Taika, and I'm getting like, wow, I'm really gonna make it. Like this is crazy. Like Taika's incredible to work with.
Yeah.
Joe Keery's in there. They bring me in the room. So I come in, I hang out with Joe. Joe's cool, one of the most down to earth. Shout out Joe, you're the man. One of the most down to earth actors in the world. Taika's super fun, and we're mimicking each other a little bit. Like because a lot about being stand-in is what your job is that it might take 3 hours, even sometimes 2 hours to set up a scene. And the actor's going to be in a trailer, and you're going to be the dummy who moves and does the lines, and you do the acts, and they try to set up the camera angles or the lighting so that when the actor comes in, it's perfect. They don't have to bother them. They bother us. We're like the B team, they call it. Yeah. And so we're doing B team stuff, and we're getting comfortable. And I'm like, in my heart, I'm like, dang, my parents were finally wrong. Like, I'm not a loser. Like this acting thing. They didn't want me to act. Now all of a sudden, like I'm gonna be, I'm like finally having that fulfilled moment. And I hang out with the boys, and it's a bunch of fun. And what ends up happening is we leave the room, and my casting director is like, SAG just called. And I'm like, what's up? They're like, you have so many vouchers for my other projects, because I had been on the society for 4 months. And I had all these SAG vouchers, which we won't go into, but you have to join the guild. You have to have a certain amount of vouchers. It's very hard to get a voucher, and you have a limit of vouchers you can get before they tell you can't work anymore, because you're basically making SAG money without being SAG. So it's usually around 5 to 7 vouchers you get from the industry, and
they're pushing you out.
They're pushing me out. So what they're telling me is you can't do the job unless you join the union. So I say I'll join the union right now, even though I'm anti-union, down with the people, but I'll join it right now just to hang out with Taika and Joe. They're like, well, it'll take 48 hours, so no. So I go from like way up to here.
No.
And I get crushed, and that's not even the saddest part.
Give me the sadness, buddy.
No, that was the sadness. Anyways, I was just kidding you. Yeah. But anyway, so let's cry about it. Moving on from there.
Fight for this.
What ends up happening is that Joe feels bad, and everybody kind of has a bad feeling. He should have fought for me, Joe. You should have fought for me.
Joe.
You should have thrown that thing around, and anyway.
Throw it around, Joe.
Anyway, so
you need new security.
I should have.
Oh, shit.
Everyone kind of feels bad because they know what happened. So now I'm getting all. I got exactly. Shout out Drew, the MVP. What ends up happening is
Drew likes me on the team.
Privileges. So now I'm getting to go to Crafty. I'm getting to do stuff that other people aren't really supposed to do, because there's kind of this vibe like the kid should be doing it, but he's not. So like,
somebody better help him out now.
Right,
Did you hear about what happened?
Shout out to
JP.
Fucking kid ran for mayor.
So did you get any love?
Yo, so what ends up happening is I get my my J hat on there, whatever, and this is really the funny story.
I get my J. Well,
Yeah, right. I had
the
to.
J hat
It wouldn't be real if I didn't get the J hat in there. Shout out Jesus.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is I'm in Crafty, and there's this actors only bathroom, okay, that I'm not supposed to be using, but because everybody feels bad, I'm obviously clearly using it a lot. I'm not even hiding it.
Crying.
I'm
Managing
my
this moment.
and everybody kind of knows me from other projects, so it's like I'm living the dream.
You're in.
All right, and the thing is, in this bathroom, Sean, if you ever see this, I love you and respect you so much. What ends up happening is there's a door for the stall, and when it closes, it makes a sound, but it's a distinct sound. It's a flatulent, wet fart sound. Now, if you're a man, you know what that sound is. Yeah. There's different types of farts. Okay. This was a particularly wet fart sound. Yeah. So as a bunch of grown-ass baby men, every day when we're in there peeing and pooping together, we're laughing at it every time. Like hundreds of times we have laughed about this thing.
Wow.
Because it's just like what boys do, even though...
Is that politically correct?
It doesn't matter if it's politics, Netflix, the church, we all fart. But anyways, but real life. Anyways, so
no shit sound.
we get this we get this pause moment, this break moment in rolling and set, and they say nobody move. But of course, me being overly comfortable, I gotta pee, so I rush to the bathroom.
Oh, there you go.
Well, when I get into the bathroom, a guy just happened to be going into the stall as the door closed.
Was this a unisex?
No,
bathroom?
it's a male bathroom. Thankfully,
He opens the door and goes,
I would have rather been a woman though. So he goes into the bathroom, I'm peeing, and the door closes, and me being overly comfortable, obviously, I go, hey, buddy, I know that was the door, don't worry. And I'm assuming he's one of the 100 guys I've already laughed with about this joke all week, because this is like a thing we do. We laugh about the fart door.
Yeah.
This is kind of the
is it.
How could you be on the set and not know about the fart door?
Yeah, of course. Everyone's privy.
Everyone's privy.
Yeah.
So I make the joke, but silence.
So
I deliver the joke great, but no laughter.
tell me this is the guy that got you fired.
No, I wish. I would deserve to be fired for this.
You should have just showed a man.
Sean, you're so much more
Maybe
chill.
You have to work on your delivery. What's the result
Pete,
here?
You'll love this. So as I'm sitting there peeing,
I'm ready to love it.
Oh, I'm
Let's
ready.
go.
As I'm sitting there peeing, I hear another wet fart sound, but the door didn't open up.
This one is reality.
This one's reality. So I just calmly can't help it because I'm a comedian. I just go, hey, buddy, I know that wasn't the door. And I didn't mean to. I really didn't mean to.
It's a fucking director.
All right. I didn't mean to.
He just farted and it just came out. I swear I regretted it immediately. I regretted it immediately.
But again, there was no reaction.
No reaction.
You just stick around to see what was happening.
Brother, it gets worse. So what happens is I'm peeing.
boy.
Oh, this is the respect.
He's the guy.
So there's a peeing going on in the stall, and it's kind of not quite the most strong stream.
Oh, he's peeing.
And me and my youthful
No,
handicaps that I have, I just think maybe it's an old guy who's not hearing my jokes. Because the pee kind of seems like doesn't have quite a strong stream. Not if there's any women watching this, it's a little ears, but the men understand. Like the older you get,
it's more of a dribble.
right? It's more of a drip, a little more of a dribble. I call
You
it.
gotta use Flomax.
So the dribble kind of messes with my head a little bit, and the dribble convinces me that hearing the jokes because I'm landing these jokes perfectly and I'm getting no laughter.
You're like, dude, I obviously know.
On
I'm
volume
hilarious.
10, this
11.
dude's coming in.
11. So
to 11.
this time it's not a fart sound, it's a squeak of the shoe, but I'm all in on the joke. So I'm go like, I literally, as the shoe squeaks, I go,
Unless you wear
buddy, if you're gonna
wingtips.
keep letting it rip, you better wipe before you leave. And I don't even think about it because I just have that problem in my brain.
Yeah.
I just don't think about it. But as I say that atrocious line, the door opens it up. Is it not Sean Levy, the biggest person on set? I mean, the guy, the director, the man, the guy who is the guy who is the biggest guy on set, by far the most important guy, and the guy who definitely knows I am not allowed to be in his bathroom.
Yeah.
After he just said nobody leaves
You
set.
should be able to handle it.
Well, so what ends up happening is, as I think about murdering myself, I
in the
washing
hockey
my
locker
hands.
room?
Right, I'm washing my hands, and he comes out, and I look up, and I kind of see him in my eye, and I'm like, well,
here
and
we
he
go.
starts, he
It's
starts
all
trying
over.
to wash his hands, but Sean, you'll remember this. What happens is he tries to get the soap, and there's no soap in his dispenser.
Did you
But
bring
there
him
is in
some?
mine, of course.
I
So he
love
starts hitting the dispenser, and then he starts jamming the dispenser, and I feel the rage.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one who caused the rage.
Does he know you have the J? Does he know you have the J
I have
guy?
the J hat on my head.
J hat.
The J is on my head as this is happening. I have a green J hat on in the moment. And so,
The Lord will always be on your side.
brother,
At least on your
I
head.
don't know what to do. So I'm washing my hands. He's jamming it. And I just go, I just put my hands like this. I don't even look up. And I just go, brother, I'm not even going to say sorry, but the soap works here. And I'm just going to go that way. And I'm not even going to look at you. My bad, bro. And like I kind of stopped. And I just go, Sean just goes,
You're fired.
no. Sean just looks up at me, and my heart sank because in that moment I thought there's probably 50 rules I did break here, so I can't even be mad at him. And I just totally sexually harassed him by accident. And like, I don't know if that works that way, like for men, but like it felt
I
that
didn't
way
think it
in
was
the
going
moment.
there.
Yeah. And I just, he looks up at me, and I just look over. I look him dead in his eyes, and I'm like, Sean, I'm so sorry. And he's like, you fucking better be. And he just said that, and he just started laughing hysterically. I was like ghost white. He says, I better be. He starts laughing. I run out. I go immediately downstairs. I actually left set that day. Shout out to whoever was running set that day. I just went out right out the building. I signed out. But yeah, to this day, I've never made eye contact with him again because I just don't even know what his opinion of me. But sorry about that, Sean.
that's
Well, it's
funny
funny
as
as
hell.
hell. You stole it all.
You should never take responsibility.
It was
for
the
anything
third.
bad
It's
with
the
that.
triple down thing. It was. I think I would have got away with it.
It was a
I
good
was like,
time.
when I told him to wipe.
Sean,
you know,
hire
that
this
was fun.
kid now.
Oh, that's 100% off.
You did all the right
Free Guy was
things
one of the
there.
best sets. Shout out
You
to
did
Free Guy
nothing
set.
wrong. Shame on anybody to ever critique you.
Oh, I had
for
a
being
blast. I
Other
had a
than who
blast.
you
That was
are.
perfect.
Yeah.
All of the things.
Yeah. Jesus led you to that moment.
Jesus is the best. He did. Dude. With my Jesus hat on.
So
It's awesome.
this has been a joyous time, guys, hanging out with everybody here. Let's make sure we don't overlook anything that needs to happen here. For one, how do we get connected with what you have going on now?
All right, cool.
Where do we go?
So the best thing to do is to get on the 421 Instagram. It's 421BLTN. Better late than never. 421BLTN. Better late than never. You can get to me directly through that. Anybody can. It goes right to our website. We're not currently dropping products for ourselves. We're going to be working on collabs with other people and kind of pushing their brands. Our main
Cool. I
thing
like
right
it.
now that's really important for me
Hard to get.
is Hexpo. We have Hexpo
We're in.
coming up here if you want to hold
Let's
that.
go. I do want to hold that. It
Anybody
feels
else
so
wanna hold
nice.
one?
UV coated, glossy.
But
We got to send an offering something team this weekend. I think
that'd
we
be
should.
there. Yeah, definitely.
You know, Johnny.
you guys
For life. Yeah, boy.
Nugs. I'm just
Yeah,
going to throw
I'm
Mutty's
Sarah
name
Nugs,
down.
my girl Bailey Nugs, the Dream Team
You
squad.
know Spencer?
Billy
Yeah,
Nugs.
dude. Yep. Yeah,
My
gang.
homie.
Homie, dog. So
Spencer.
let me
Yeah.
just quickly say that Hexpo's this weekend, Sunday. It was Nikan's #1 show last year. I assume we're going to be the #1 show this year, even better. 421 does have a smoke lounge. It'll be out back.
Smoke.
It's right next to the
VIPs.
bar.
Those are lovely. VIPs.
Also, if you mention you're with 421 or you wear our gear at the door, you are in for free. And so everybody's with us. Just mention 421 and you're going to get right in.
C-Con. You going, Pat? You going to be there?
I think Johnny, the Jonny Deups and I might be taking the team down,
Love
right,
that.
Johnny? We got the RV. Call the RV, throw up a ballet. Let's do it.
Don't smoke all day with us. It's
Just
gonna
don't
be a
tell my
blast.
ex-wife I'm going to a rally.
So once again, connect with at
We're
421
masters.
BLTN. That's 421. Better late than never. Get hip with it. And Muddy,
Yeah,
what's
baby.
up with you, bro?
Hey.
What are you driving right now? What are you trying to
D-dub.
make people connect with?
Life, man.
Life, energy.
And just focus on you and do positive.
Yeah.
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 Yep. That's all it comes down to.
And having a clean shave when you get here.
Yeah. Listen, like if you don't
Tell
clean
them what
up,
it's about, Mutty,
you don't
though.
clean up. This is my Halloween costume. I've grown out a mustache.
He's going to do door checks after
Yeah,
this.
He doesn't
Gomez.
usually have a mustache.
Checking the
Yeah, you
floorboards.
don't have a mustache, but hey, you know what? Life evolves,
It does.
and we change.
Incredible ways.
Change is great.
Isn't
if
it?
we're not changing, we're not evolving, we're not doing dope shit.
If you ain't learning,
we're not,
you
know,
are
being
dying.
awesome. We're not making cool shit happen, and we're not offering
I
something.
think dope
weird.
shit. I think we need to see a cover of the Urban.
Gotcha.
These guys
I'll
got to see that
flash it
cover.
on the screen.
This is like from the fourth floor.
Wow, what is this?
Speaking of,
It was the fourth
if
floor,
we're gonna
buddy.
drive anybody anywhere, go buy this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
East
a
Street
love.
Archives.
This is a love to snowboarding right here. This is a
Look at
book
that.
that covers a lot of the history of snowboarding. I
Actually, you're in New
on the
England.
cover of the magazine. I'm like going over a.
Cover. I've only made it to a centerfold.
I bet you have.
Well, you know where I made the centerfold, right?
So a good friend of mine just bought 4 of these books. These books are like $100 each.
Yeah.
The quality of them is like so worth it. You can just feel the weight, and you're like, that's worth $100.
Do we have the picture though of the ultimate
Yeah.
shot?
All right, hang on. I'll find it.
Like this is the craziest thing I've ever seen, and I've done I've been a ski
You're
bum in
in
Utah
that,
for a long time, and what he's doing here is just epic. You got to see this shot.
Yeah, I did a lot of work.
It's so
I did a lot of work
badass.
with Gary here. See, so they have this pull out in the book that's a picture of a bomb.
Yeah.
And if you move it over like this, like you get the full glimpse. That's me jumping off a parking garage.
Yeah,
How many
bring that
stories
up
are
out of this pile of ice.
Was it 4
Well,
stories?
kind of 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4th story. So
Kids
it's like-
coming out of a 4-story garage in Boston.
This goes back to what I was talking about earlier about finding your niche and finding how to, do your thing. Like that's Boston when when I had no other place to snowboard besides on random piles of snow.
And you landed that, no problem. Fine, body
it took
fine.
me 3 tries.
3 tries.
Yeah, a couple of them I wiped out in the dirt.
No
but,
injuries?
How do you go back again after?
No, I was like rubber as a kid.
I was like rubber.
Still am.
I love that.
Bounce around. Thank you, sir.
Nice work with
So
that.
yeah, no, this is a beautiful hardcover book. Anybody that's ever interested in a sport like the early days of snowboarding can really get into
East
like that.
Street Archives.
So Gary is a photographer. He shoots
Gary Land, yeah.
he shoots major commercials right now, like
What's major? What does that mean?
Samsonite.
Samsonite.
boys.
Big company.
Yeah.
Was that in Dumb and Dumber or was that Swanson?
That's that Hollywood budget JP's talking about right there.
Throw
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a budget, but he made a book about Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Shit.
He shot 50 Cent. Like he's buddies with 50
He
Cent.
literally shot 50 Cent.
He could call up 50 Cent and just be like, "Yo, what's going on?" Yeah. So
Obviously
Gary,
not a very good shot.
Gary started
Terrible
working.
shot.
Gary started working for Reebok, and he started as a low-level guy. And anybody knows that you work your way up. And he did all like the entertainment and the sports athletes with Reebok associated with him, so he'd go anywhere.
Yeah.
So he shot like a lot of like Venus and Serena Williams, like athletes.
Wow.
High-profile athletes on the Reebok level. If you got paid by Reebok. Just like if you got paid by New Balance, like a Tom Brady or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, he shot in Tom. Like, so he's gone outside of Reebok and done his own thing. He owns Gary Lamb
Good
Productions.
golly,
And
Gary.
it's awesome. Guy kicks ass.
What up, Gary?
Gary, shout out to you, man. You're the man.
So that's what we want people to look at. East Street Archives.
Yeah, man, this is, it's a love letter to snowboarding, as Gary calls it. So East Street was the street that he grew
Romantic.
up in.
Yeah.
Shooting photos growing up in Killington, shooting snowboarding.
Oh,
So
well, is that where you broke your leg?
that's where he broke his leg.
Hilton caught a body.
Wow.
Jacked me up, dog.
How you feeling now, mate? You all healed up?
Kinda. I just
You're at,
I
like,
took it as a chip on my shoulder. I went on to just compete at high levels. They
Yeah.
told me I wouldn't walk again.
And here
I
you are.
I shattered 23 places, once in my knee, once in my growth plate.
Gotcha.
Shattered it. And I was out on the trail. I was out by myself. Old ladies found me.
I didn't notice any limp on you.
I mean, it's
It's healed. That's the body. That's the miracle of
Look
life.
at you. Nice
Lord
work.
will
doing
always
that.
be on your side.
I got real fat for a while. I think that the emotional damage of going from being a normal human to a fat human and how people treat you
That was
afterwards
hard.
was harder than learning to walk again.
Yeah.
For sure. Because then you have to be human again. And you're like, humans
harder
are
than learning to walk
It
again.
was, 'cause then you have to
people
look at
talking to you
humans like
you were
humans
a
are not
fat
humans.
person.
Listen, if you don't know what
I'm
it's like to
listening.
be a fat person, it's kind of like when
I
women
don't
say,
know what it's like. I've never
okay.
gone through that.
Recently, there was a study
You
where
used to
women
be fat?
I got fat.
When he broke
And
his
it's all
leg.
Like, how fat is fat?
Like fat enough to get picked on at school.
300 pounds.
Whoa.
300
You're a
pounds.
tall
That's
guy,
obese,
so, like, for
brother.
you to be
brother,
fat is
that's
like-
dangerous. That's like you get your own
That's
Netflix
da-
series. That's different. I wasn't.
I'm dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit dangerous.
You know who he reminds me of?
Angel
Who does he
dust.
remind you of?
Like
Your
bust
old
my
school
gap.
buddy Ben.
Ben.
Big
Oh,
Ben.
yeah,
Ben?
Big Ben.
Like Roethlisberger.
Deep voice, tall guy, like
Saxophone.
Wow, no,
Saxophone
Big
Ben.
Ben.
Big Ben.
Big Ben.
I don't
Big
become
deal,
saxophone
Ben
Ben.
big
Twombly.
old Ben.
Ben Twombly.
All right, I love you
brother.
guys. It's been a joy hanging out with you. I
Same,
really,
brother.
honestly, I love you. Oh, that's aggressive. Thanks for that.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Shake hard.
Dude, these are awesome. Shout out to
Cheers,
Enjoy Your
mate.
Life.
Love you,
Enjoy
Mutty.
your
Love
life. Cheers.
All right,
JP,
so
love you too.
yo, it's been a pleasure hanging with Andrew, Mutty, Beantown, Greentown, amazing human, JP, Horrigan, 421, better late than never.
421,
Phall
get on it.
Roots is here. Andrew is back there. Andrew security for 421. Jonny Deups in the room. It's offering something.
The Dupes.
Yo, we love you. We love our sponsors at Enjoy Your Life brand, Rockport Brewing, New Balance. And thanks for watching the show. That's it. Can we all scream together? Everybody in the room, come on this side. Jonny, Andrew, let's go.
Right here.
Don't trip on any cameras. And that's it. Yo.
Where from, brother?
It's your, get all the way in. There it is. Been on down. Woo now. I love you.